All right, back on Inside College Football Live. If those uniforms look like something in your grandpa's closet, there's a reason. Navy wearing their 1959 uniforms to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Navy Marine Corps Stadium. They're going to try to keep them clean against Western Kentucky coming up shortly. Meanwhile, Michigan just trying to wear out the clock here. 36-33 the lead. Donovan Warren with an interception. The play was reviewed. It was upheld. So Michigan ball, and it looks like they're going to escape at the Big House against an Indiana team they haven't lost to since the 1960s. So another big exhale for Michigan fans here. Tate Forcier leading a game-winning drive, and then the defense kicking in. Navy coming up here. Ricky Dobbs, the guy who's taken over here, running this triple option, BJ.
That's right. He's rushed for 5 touchdowns. He's also thrown for 2, 1 pick. They call him Backdoor Ricky because of his escapability. You'll see a lot of that today.
It's a tough system anyway. When you put an outstanding football player at the quarterback position with the offense, it can work.
And we see Paul Johnson using it well today for Georgia Tech against North Carolina. That'll do it here on Inside College Football Live. Kickoff of Navy and Western Kentucky next. We'll see you back here at halftime. Enjoy the game.
There are places that are just special.
Judy!
Places where being part of the family is most important.
Honor.
Places where everyone is there for the same cause.
Loyalty.
Welcome to the United States Naval Academy.
Go Navy!
A place where over 4,000 men and women stand side by side, one for all and all for one.
Big welcome to Annapolis, Maryland. Navy Marine Corps Stadium celebrating its 50th anniversary today against the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky, and wearing their vintage 1959 jerseys, welcome the midshipmen. And the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. And hello, everyone. Craig Bolerjock along with Randy Cross. Glad you're with us. Glad you're aboard today. And let's talk about Navy, Randy. Last week, this team goes down to Pitt. They suffer a disappointing loss to the Panthers. Today, they're back home. We know about this triple option offense. It is dangerous, and they hope to put the pedal down a little bit today.
Well, absolutely. They want to get back to basics, and getting back to basics means finding the running back whose turn it is today to really stand out. Week 1, that running back was Marcus Curry. He caught touchdown passes. He ran the ball. Week 2 against Louisiana Tech, he had an outstanding day on the perimeter. We'll see today if he can have the edge, but they really want to get that triple option. Remember, first option is Ricky Dobbs. Second, Ricky Dobbs. First option is Alexander Teach, the fullback. Watch for him also on some pitches. He can get outside. This kid's got very good speed. He'll touch the ball around 20 times today. Now for Western Kentucky, you've got Kwan Jakes is going to start. Brandon Smith is going to be out because he got too banged up the last week or so. The redshirt freshman, Kwan Jakes, gets his start. He has a much better arm, the coaches tell us, and is able to push the ball a little more effectively down the field.
Weather today in Annapolis, 68 degrees, a light rain falling over the last 20 minutes. That will be the call off and on this afternoon, and the wind should not play a factor at 12 miles an hour. We're glad you're with us. Celebration is in the air today as Navy played their first game in this stadium 50 years ago to the day as they beat William & Mary 29-2. Navy has won the toss and will receive. And the head coach of the Naval Academy in his second year, Ken Niamatu Lolo, and he's 9-8 on the season. Assistant head coach to Paul Johnson, who's gone on to Georgia Tech and has done terrific things here with the Naval Academy. David Elson is the head coach of Western Kentucky. Interesting story, Randy. This is the first full year of Division I for the Hilltoppers. It's a 3-year process. You have to have 2. It's kind of a mini probation as you make your way to Division I. And now they have an opportunity, if you can win the 6 games, to find themselves in postseason play.
And the highlight for them really will be, and will continue to be for a good while, as they add to their roster. They do have several players on their roster that are still basically Division I AA type or FCS players. They're now upgrading their roster as the year goes by.
G.G. Green, the freshman from Columbia, South Carolina, is back to receive for Navy. It's a short kick and taken at the 15. This young man has speed, bounces off one tackle and leans down to the 34-yard line. And so terrific field position for Navy to start their first drive of the day. And Randy, let's take a look at today's quarterback profile, brought to you by 5-Hour Energy.
Make the read. Very important for Ricky Dobbs to make the proper reads, either handoff or pitch or run it. He is the VP. He's the vice president in his class. He is the leader. And accuracy. When you're asked to throw it accurately.
The Navy breaks huddle on this far sideline. Last week, coming off that 27-14 loss to the Pitt Panthers. Next week, Air Force will be in town. First play. And they hit the fullback. And Alexander Teach will touch the ball many times today. Difference makers. Well, Ricky Dobbs, keep your eye on that quarterback. He's the trigger man, hoping to bounce back from last week's tough performance against Pitt. Marcus Curry, all-purpose back, good size, just a sophomore. And as I mentioned, Teach is the fullback. He has good size, good speed, and 20 carries is the goal today for Teach. A pickup of 5 on first down. Second down on the carry. They'll pitch it outside. And a good read by Ricky Dobbs. And the difference makers for Western Kentucky.
Well, on the defensive side, remember that triple option. Number 1, have to have a lineman like Jared Clendenin. That's always going to have an eye on the fullback. Have to have a linebacker like Thomas Majors. Keep your eye on that quarterback. And for the pitch, you need a defensive back like Mark Santoro coming at safety to allow for that halfback coming around.
So first down for Navy. 2 strong plays. As you look at the top of your screen, you can follow the starting lineups this afternoon. Navy and Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky from the Sun Belt. Nice cut. Dobbs, quarterback keeper, into Hilltop territory, Randy, at the 46, the 47-yard line. So a crisp start for the Naval Academy. You know, you look at what Western Kentucky wants to do today. Mike Dietzel, the defensive coordinator, we had a chance to talk to him earlier this week. 4 things. Usually we get 3 concerns. Number 1, take away the fullback. Number 2, you have to tackle the perimeter. You have to be disciplined against a triple option. But his 4th point was get off the field on 3rd down. Up the gut. And time for the cross examination.
And just along the lines of the points you just made, if you're Navy, you want to stay ahead of the sticks. You want to get your first downs on first or second down like you just saw him do right there. Western Kentucky, just do your job. If you're a defensive lineman, get the fullback. If you're a linebacker, get the quarterback. If you're a defensive back, worry about the pitch. Don't try to do too much. That's when you get out of position on defense. Strong
drive by the midshipmen. Back-to-back first downs. Again, the fullback is ridden, and Teach takes the football, a pickup of 3. And that triple option, Randy, when it's running, it's like a ballet. You pick up 4, you pick up 5, and really puts the defense on their heels on second down. You know, they've had good luck in the opening drives against Ohio State. 15 plays, Randy. They go 80 yards for the touchdown. Against La Tech and Pitt, well, you saw the difference there. 3 and out, 6 plays, and you're ended up to punt last week against Pittsburgh. Second down, under center is Dobbs. 5 straight runs to open this game for 27 yards. And maybe 2 to the 34 to 35-yard line.
You have to be very careful when you're running against this triple option. Backside last week against Pittsburgh, they weren't getting the usual blocks and their cut blocks, which opens up those gaps for the fullback and the quarterback, which they did such a great job against Ohio State. So it's not always right at the ball or even with the player that has gonna get the ball where the action is. Concentrate on the offensive line up front.
Dobbs gave it to the fullback, pulled it back, and another first down. So this drive continues inside the 30-yard line to the 29.
Now concentrate on Ricky Dobbs right here the whole way. Watch him follow his fullback off the initial fake. Nice blocking up front by that whole offensive line. But he gets Teach up in front of him. He pulls that ball. When he does, he sees there's nothing but air in front of him. He just follows his fullback. That's a play they ran about half a dozen times against Ohio State. Very successful.
You know, right now, Vince Murray, 47, is in at the fullback spot as he lines up behind Ricky Dobbs on first down to the 29-yard line of the Hilltoppers. Dobbs, a keeper, turns it up, has a lane. Watch out, 10-5, touchdown, Navy. A 29-yard run by Ricky Dobbs. And Randy, we go back to our talk with Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, says we got to get back to basics. And that was a basic drive by Navy.
They did not sugarcoat it. Put a lot of it on Ricky Dobbs with some bad reads last week against Pitt. He's the star of the first drive.
John Teague comes in and kicks it up and in, and the first drive equals 7 for Navy. Dobbs, great read, and the great turn.
And you see when he takes that turn back to his left, once he clears the offensive line, look back inside. There are no white jerseys. They've all been cut to the ground. Beautiful blocking screen, excellent read.
College football on the CBS College Sports Network is brought to you by Bud Light. With just the right taste, it never fills you up. The difference is drinkability. By DirecTV, follow your favorite team no matter where you are, live with NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV. And by 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no crash later. Visit 5hourenergy.com for more information. Well, Navy showed plenty of energy on their opening drive. 65 yards, Randy, 8 plays. All running by Navy. Back to basics. Dobbs, 3 carries along the way for 42 yards.
They might get into double digits in passes, Craig, but I doubt it. I look for maybe 10 to 12 passes. This is real meat and potatoes, like you said earlier from Coach Niumatalolo and his football team.
So set to kick away from the 30-yard line. It was quite a battle this week, by the way, between John Teague and Joe Buckley. Ken Niumatalolo said, listen, I'm not happy with the way this kicking game's going. We're going to have a competition. And John Teague came out of it, and he's honored with the duties today from the 30. A good kick. This one hangs and will drop down to the 7-yard line. And the Hilltoppers bring it up the middle, bouncing off one side to the 25 and to the 29-yard line. Darius Brooks, a nice return. The sophomore from Forston, Georgia. 7-0 Navy.
Here comes Navy.
Navy takes the opening drive, 65 yards. Ricky Dobbs from 29 yards out, 7-0 midshipman. Let's take a look at today's quarterback profile once again, brought to you by 5-Hour Energy.
It's hard not to like. We only talked to him for a little while, but Kwan Jakes, very personable kid, says, I don't get nervous. Coach describes him as very smart, extremely athletic, and one of the most competitive kids he's got. And he'll have to call on all that against the midshipmen today.
Yeah, redshirt freshman from St. Augustine, Florida. And big shoes to fill. Brandon Smith, the senior, but boy, he's just been troubled with injury throughout his career. He's not playing today because of a right shoulder injury, and he's been struggling for the last couple of seasons, Randy, with that broken leg he suffered.
And Jakes at 6'3" gives him a quarterback that can easily see over this offensive line. He operates a little differently.
First down, Hilltoppers want to run. Rainey breaks a tackle, and look at the swarm of midshipmen. A loss of 2, maybe 3, back to the 27-yard line. As we look at the Hilltoppers and the offensive difference makers, we just talked about Rainey. He's only 5'7", but boy, what a dynamite runner. And Darius Brooks, 8 receptions on the season, and Quinterrence Cooper also a threat from his wide receiver position. Officially a loss of 1, 2nd down and 11. And whistles and flags.
For the snap, ball start, offense number 76, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And here with the Navy difference makers on the defensive side, Jordan Stevens off to a nice start coming from the nose tackle position. Wyatt Middleton, usually the rover, now starting at linebacker due to some injuries last week, and Emmett Merchant at free safety. If that ball gets in the air, it's Merchant's job to take advantage and intercept it.
5-yard penalty, 2nd down, big hole, watch out, it's Rainey. 1st down, Hilltoppers at the 41-yard line, a 16-yard, make it a 17-yard run. As you look at the starters for Western Kentucky and the defensive starters for Navy. Rainey, he told us, I'm 5'7", all right? I know I'm a powerful guy, but you know what? I can hide behind my offensive lineman and then make my move.
He's very good once he makes his decision, getting his center of gravity lower to the ground and just cutting and bolting and going, just like you saw him in that last play.
Averages nearly 5 yards to carry. First throw, it's a little pitch and catch. Dustin Boyer makes the grab out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Navy. Boyer making his 4th reception of the season, a pickup of 14.
You know, when Navy had the ball first, we went over what they've done on their first possessions. Equally as big a story, if not a bigger story, is what the opponents have done on their first drives. Louisiana Tech, last time we were here, a 10-play drive. Pitt last week, a 12-play drive. No one's been stopped so far on the first drive.
From the shotgun, little option as Jakes pulled that ball from Rainey and picks up yards down to the 40-yard line. Randy, how about the cross-examination?
A little note each side, a little something for them to look forward to. Stay on the field offensively. Try to make the plays. Keep those sticks moving. Do not subject your defense to constant triple option. And for Navy, attack this offense and cause the turnover. When they're being their most effective, they're penetrating, they're attacking, and they're causing fumbles and interceptions.
Yeah, Western Kentucky also will throw multiple sets at you. 3 wide receivers, top of your screen, and nothing real fancy. It's just pitch and catch. And I like the fact what David Elson's doing. He's given K1 Jakes just a chance to get comfortable and find some confidence here early.
Well, he's very confident in what he can do. He is extremely confident in his skills when it comes to throwing the ball. So everything that's been called has been right in his wheelhouse. It's been the little dump off at the side, the little dump off over the middle for the yards. Coach Elson there, I think, though, is keeping in reserve that play action down the field thunderbolt that he'd love to call on a more regular basis with this kid at quarterback. 3rd down and short from the eye. On a rollout, it's Jakes, goes up top, bingo, inside the 10, stumbling inside the 5-yard line. And Western Kentucky is 1st and goal. The tight end, Jack Doyle, who is a big target at 6'5", makes his 12th grab. Well, we didn't have to wait long for that play-action fake and the thunderbolt down the field. Nice, accurate toss. For those of you thinking that's not a very hard throw, try to hit a guy that wide open 25, 30 yards away and not have to make him adjust. That was a very good throw by the redshirt freshman quarterback. 32-yard pickup, and the redshirt freshman is now 3 for 3, 53 yards. And boy, what a stick at the goal line. It will be 2nd down and goal just inside the 1. Well, that's Navy defense. That is really nice penetration down below, but then listen to this over the top. Beautiful job. You see down below, nothing but white jerseys. They've all been kind of submarine, got out of the way. The linebackers and safeties right over the top at the runner. 2nd down and goal as we hit the 7-minute mark of the opening quarter. Fumble on that snap. It is raining, and they're going to put it right back at the 1 yard line. So maybe a loss of a half a yard, and the Navy midshipman coming off the field, and the fumble recovery at the 1 yard line. Critical error. Just the kind of thing you worry about with a new quarterback with the exchange with the center. He might have known since basically Sunday, but gets a bad exchange with the center. Center is going to block back. The tail moves away from the quarterback, Jakes. He doesn't ride with him. That's what causes that fumble. And that's a sign of a young, inexperienced quarterback not to ride with the center, especially during an emotional time there when you're down in that goal line that close. You got to stay with that guy snapping you the ball.
Ground level. And that ball squirts out and Navy on it. So now the midshipmen start this drive and a long way to go. 99 yards from pay dirt. From just at the 1 yard line, and the keeper to the 5. That's the quarterback, Dobbs.
Or maybe player down on the field.
Down on 2 knees at the 2 yard line. And we can't see, now we can, through a big Matt Malloy. And that is Teach. Alexander Teach, the fullback, the sophomore from Conroe, Texas, down. We'll be back. Navy by 7.
Let's take another look at this. Teach is at fullback. We'll get the fake from Dobbs. Dobbs follows his fullback, and here's Teach right here. He's blocking on Smith, the inside linebacker. Does a nice job, but he gets rolled up on from behind. And he gets that left leg isolated and bent back. Smith does a nice job of meeting that fullback in the hole, but it's the action coming from the back that catches Teach in the leg.
Well, while we were away, Teach able to walk off the field with a little bit of help. His numbers today, 3 carries for 12 yards. They were hoping to get Teach at least 20 carries. Vince Murray, a junior from Union, Kentucky, is his backup. He's had a couple of touches already today. And now they put Bobby Doyle on one of the wings on 2nd down from the 5 yard line. Ricky Dobbs hits the pile for 2.
That's one thing they will do. They'll give you with this offense is they'll give you a diverse look, and then they'll take one of the wing backs out. They'll put a wide receiver in, and then they'll substitute in there with another back. They'll bring in a guy like Corey Finnerty, who's also very good out of the backfield as a receiver.
Many options with this option offense of Navy. A lot of personnel. We'll see. Ivan Jasper in his 2nd year as offensive coordinator. On 3rd down, keeper. It's going to be close. Looks like the spot's going to go Navy's way, just past the 11 yard line.
The thing that amazes me, what makes it so difficult, besides the obvious of simulating this type of offense in practice, you never see offensive lines with these kind of splits. If you look at this team from behind, there are 3 to 4 feet between the linemen. And that part of the pressure on these defensive players of not trying to do too much is having that much area to defend. If you overcommit, you open up twice as big an area inside.
You can fit through there, Randy.
Now I could.
1st down from the 11 yard line. Dobbs reads, keeps. You hear the pads pop. Took a pretty good shot down around the 14 yard line.
And here's a little bit of the spacing we talked about. Look at the space. Look at this. These are the splits between the linemen. That really sets this style of offense, this triple option offense, apart from most. And it also points something out when you see other teams in college, like a Florida, run the spread, and other teams run the spread offense. It's very, very similar. So the difference between this triple option and the spread is that sometimes it's semantics.
2nd down and a long 3. Those are the football at the 13 yard line and stacked up. 1st down at the 24 yard line. Understand we do have an injury update from the sideline. Teach with an injured ankle. Good it's not the knee. And we understand a retape is to follow, and that means he'll be hopefully back on the football field.
Well, it's such an important part of this offense. You don't only have to know about what this offense has been like since Paul Johnson got to Navy and then Ken Nuamatalolo took over for him. They need the fullback. The fullback is the featured weapon. It's like Jonathan Dwyer down there at Georgia Tech now for Paul Johnson. He's the key running back.
1st down Dobbs the read, finds the seam, falls past the 30. They'll put him down at the 31-yard line. And Randy, it is so difficult for defenses. When you're looking again, I go back and say, you cannot give up 6 yards on first down.
Watch the outside. When you have to get at that decision point, you're one of those defenders. Excellent block on the outside, but you look at the stress that puts on defenders. If you're a guy, an outside linebacker or a safety, you're suddenly caught between Ricky Dobbs and Curry as a pitch man. As soon as you get to the point where you're caught between, you can't make a good decision. They'll make you pay whichever way you go.
Navy averaging 5 yards carry on first down. And again, the pile at the 35, it looks to be close or short of the first down. We'll have to wait to umpile. Randy, how tough is it? I don't think a week or 4 practices basically is enough time to prepare. Now, Western Kentucky did tell us they ran through some sets during camp in August, but still, you have to play against this offense to understand it and find a way to stop it.
Well, I think what Coach Niumatalolo and his offense do different than Coach Elson and company would have a hard time with is A, they throw very effectively out of it, and B, they have such good speed on the edges off those pitches, it makes them different.
Welcome back to Annapolis, Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers taking on the Navy midshipmen. Navy Marine Corps Stadium, 50th anniversary this afternoon. Some throwback jerseys as the Brigade of Midshipmen are all in the stands. It's raining. Randy, it came in about 15 minutes before the kick, and it's been steady ever since.
You think that first, during halftime, when they do the big ceremony here for the 50th anniversary, get Joe Bellino out and get one of the old guys out from the team and simulate that big long touchdown run?
Maybe they should. 50 years ago, that's not a bad idea. Joe, can you give us one more? Sure I can. The former Heisman winner, I'm sure, would say. This drive started at the half-yard line after the Hilltopper fumble. It's 1st and 10 at the 35. Ricky Dobbs in charge at quarterback, and again, another 5-yard pickup. 16th play in this first quarter of football. Dobbs, I'm not surprised, has yet throw the football.
It's something that when you face this triple option, think about it this way. The more you concentrate on stopping those 5-yard chunks inside, the more apt you are is to give up a 50-yard play on the extreme outside. Inside, you've got to learn to tighten it down without giving up the yards on the outside by overcommitting.
Second down, the handoff up the middle, fullback Vince Murray. First down and more. How about a 9-yard gain to the 49-yard line?
And watch this section of the field right here. The blocking, the defense, they almost get caught watching. If you get caught watching, you'll get caught trying to get them from behind. Here, you try to figure out who's got the ball. Oops, I'm a safety. I better tackle the fullback because it doesn't take them long to get back there.
Navy continues to pile up the first down to 114 yards on the ground and stack on another 4, maybe 5, up to around the 46-yard line. Again, the ball carrier, the fullback, as Teach has been taken out with that ankle injury, retaped, and Vince Murray is now the fullback.
Yeah, Teach was actually doing some sprints on the sideline, testing that ankle out. He looks fine. In fact, he's getting his helmet back on. Looks like he might be coming back in.
Teach, a 212-pound fullback, put on about 10 in the offseason. Long snap by Dobbs under center. Long count at the 46. Little pitch out, near side, running room, down the sideline, tip it torn, and finally pulled out of bounds. And great balance by Marcus Curry.
And when you watch this, on the right side of your screen, concentrate on the blocking by the receivers. There's the option. There's the pitch. Now there's Finnerty. He's gotten out. He's gotten himself a block. I mean, everybody, if you line up on this football team, you are going to get a chance to block on the outside especially. You
know, Curry last week did not have a great game against Pitt. He went to his offensive coordinator and basically said, I take responsibility. I'm going to do better. And a nice 17-yard run by Curry. And let's meet Marcus Curry, number 28.
Marcus Curry, hometown, Carrollton, Texas. My service selection will most likely be Naval Aviation. Favorite meal, pigs in the blanket from IHOP. My favorite Coach Nehemiah expression is, we got guys who always trying to cut dang corners and skip lines. We're trying to win dang games here.
Oh, the young man was a pleasure to speak with on Thursday. Gets the carry again, just a sophomore. And you know what? I've got to try that. How about after the game?
No pigs, you haven't
not at
that?
IHOP. Not at IHOP.
Oh, come on.
Number one, huh?
And you can also get them in all kinds of different colors with all those different syrups.
Ooh.
You know? Pigs in a blanket. That's a little different.
Curry full of personality.
Oh,
Nearly
yeah.
7 yards a carry so far this season, and he's going to be around a while. Just a sophomore. 2 for 2 today on third downs. Going for 3 for 3. They need 3 yards to keep this drive moving. Dobbs, the carrier, and first down and more. Boy, he can push a pile up to around the 18-yard line.
But you don't expect it. If you're a defense, you're not looking for somebody coming behind the guy that didn't get the ball. It's a great edge if you can run that effectively.
Final seconds of the opening quarter winding down here in Annapolis. It's been all Navy, and it's been all on the ground. Impressive triple option attack here through the first quarter. Midshipmen up by 7 over Western Kentucky. You're watching the CBS College Sports Network. Football first. We're coming back after this. One of life's good moments here at the Naval Academy is one of the great traditions in all of sport. The Brigade of Midshipmen, over 4,000 strong. They enter the stadium as one. As every mid will tell you, it's the brotherhood. What a sight it is. Navy, after one quarter, on top by 7, dominating ground game. And let's take a look now at the Bud Light Stats 6-pack.
A little deceiving by the score in that Western Kentucky did move the ball very effectively. When they got their chance, they fumbled the ball down at about the half-yard line. But when Navy has had it, it has been all runs and not huge chunks. A lot of 5s, a lot of 3s, a lot of 7s, a lot of 8s. Been very effective controlling the time on the clock and controlling the ground.
Navy came in, Randy, averaging just under 202 yards a game on the ground. They've won 4 straight Division I rushing titles, and they're trying to win their 5th. But they are trailing Air Force in a big way. Teach is back in the lineup after being retaped. And down to the 10-yard line.
One part of the defense that really suffers from something they're not used to when you play Navy is if you're a linebacker or a safety, you're not used to seeing offensive linemen and running backs, like fullbacks that don't get the ball, come screaming through open gaps, and they throw a lot of cut blocks. So you better be ready to protect your legs and move for the tackle.
That ball actually placed on the 15-yard line. Flag stops the play. Down at the 20-yard line.
Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And Jim Roberson, the referee today from the Sun Belt Conference. You saw a bark come from Ken Niumatalolo, the head coach of Navy. Boy, intense. Intense. Dedicated. The word.
Well, if you're going to run this style of offense, you have to be so precise. Everyone has to have such an attention to detail.
That backs it up. Second down and 12, and now the ball's down on the deck at the 24-yard line. Exchange or rain, or a combination?
I don't think it has anything to do with the rain. I think it has a lot to do with penetration. Watch the penetration into the backfield. Not only does the nose tackle get in there, but he gets his helmet right on the ball. I mean, it's an excellent job of penetrating in there and getting helmet right there. Just smack on the ball.
41, the inside backer, Torian Smith, the senior from Perry, Georgia. You're right, helmet right on the ball, pops out. Third down. They call it 15, back at the 23-yard line. Dobbs pulls it out of the fullback's belly, and rumbles inside the 15. They'll mark him down at the 14-yard line. You know, that was the big thing about Ricky Dobbs. Randy, was Ivan Jasper told us, hey, we have to have Dobbs make the read.
And he has to recognize this lane. Watch the lane that forms on the right side. He fakes the ball to teach, and then the lane opens up. Look at that opening there. That is perfect. That's part of those reads. And he was passing some of those up against Pitt last week.
John Teague will try the field goal. He won the kicking competition this week. They'll mark it at the 21, a 31-yard attempt, and it's a good kick, and it is through the uprights. So Teague hits a 17-play drive, and Navy opens up a 10-point lead on Western Kentucky. Welcome back to Annapolis. Navy opens up a 10-0 lead on Western Kentucky. 85-yard drive. It took 9 minutes off the clock, and the 31-yard field goal by John Teague. Let's take you back. 2002, Coach Jack Harbaugh led Western Kentucky to the national championship against McNeese State. Quarterback Jason Michael threw for a touchdown, later ran for another, and John Frazier added 2 touchdown runs of his own as the Hilltoppers went on to win their only national title. And the coach of that team, Jack Harbaugh, joins us via telephone. Coach, it's great to have you alongside, and welcome. I guess those memories still very fresh in your mind back in '02.
Well, no question about it. Those were signature years for the Harbaugh family. Western Kentucky has a special place in our heart, and those at 2002 is the culmination of a great run.
And Coach, I remember talking to your son Jim back in the days when he was with the Colts and in the NFL, talking about getting a chance to go back and help you out a little bit.
No, Jim was instrumental. We lost our program in '93. They took it away from us, and then Jim got involved as an unpaid assistant coach and got on the road and recruited, and about 26 players that he recruited end up with significant and playing time at Western, and allowed us to be successful in 2002.
Jack Harbaugh is with us, the former head coach of Western Kentucky. And Jack, I want to take you back to 1992. That's, of course, when you really made the difference. The president and the Board of Regents, they wanted to eliminate Hilltopper football, and you had to agree, if I'm not mistaken, to cut the budget just to keep your program afloat. And then you mentioned Jim, who was in the Colts quarterback. I guess he shipped a few items your way to help this program, and the rest is history. This is almost like a movie in the making, isn't it?
It was a fantastic. You look back on it now, you know, with a smile on your face. But at the time, I mean, it was crunch time. I mean, it was interesting. But as you mentioned, we were getting ready to start spring practice in '92. The president called us into his office and said that he had the votes to drop football and to go tell the team that we wouldn't be playing football at Western anymore. We went and told them, and the players to the man agreed to go out and practice in the spring in April. And then at the end of April, we picked up a vote on the Board of Regents. We won 5-4 and kept football, but they did eliminate 2 full-time coaches. They eliminated about 12 scholarships and cut our budget in half. So we took a hit from that standpoint, but we still had football.
Coach, you got to be so proud of your Hilltoppers as they make this adjustment to the FBS level, to the D1 level.
Well, no question about it. I think David Ellison has just done a fantastic job. It's a tough transition, 1AA football and scholarships and that type of thing, and then go into Division One. It's very, very difficult, and I think Dave has done an outstanding job of moving the program forward.
And Jack, before we cut you loose, I know you have to be proud as well. There was a $50 million expansion, and Coach Elson told us straight up last night at walkthrough, this program and the facilities will match most, if not all, in Division I football.
No question about it. We were back last year and saw the facilities, and you know, some of the Division 1A programs that we're familiar with and we've been around. Western takes a back seat to no one. I had tears in my eyes when I saw the facilities. Pride for one reason, and envy that we don't have a chance to share it in now. But I'm so happy for Western and for Jimmy Fikes and all the great football tradition that they have in the program there at Western.
Hey Jack, we appreciate your time. Continued health, and congratulations on a great pass, and best of luck in the future.
Well, thank you very much for having him on, and go Toppers.
All right,
thanks,
Jack Harbaugh joins us, and he has to be proud that this team now down 10, trying to bounce back. They did move the football, as you mentioned, Randy, and let it go at the 1-yard line. And Jakes, this young redshirt freshman, continues to show poise as they move the ball to midfield.
Well, remember what happened. Remember the reason they turned the ball over was there was a fumble in the exchange between the quarterback and the center. It wasn't that they were being frustrated or stopped by the Navy defense. And Jakes has continued his passes. He's 5 of 5 right now for 69 yards. Very, very patient. Remember, he hit the long play action pass on 3rd and 1. But it's been good decisions. It's not always easy for a redshirt freshman quarterback getting his first real shot to check the ball down and not throw long.
Making his first collegiate start here against the Naval Academy. Trying to go keep that passing record complete, and Jack Doyle makes the grab. And a 5-yard pickup. And Randy, we take you back to that last possession. And inside the 1-yard line, and the Hilltoppers were going in. It looked like they were going in. They lost the football.
The Navy defense does a fabulous job of meeting the running back coming over the top, stopping him short on 1st down, and 2nd down the ball comes loose, and Navy comes up with it. And this is the first stop Navy's gotten in a first drive against an opponent this year.
2nd down and 5 from the 46-yard line. Little option. Stop and go. Watch out. All he needs is a lane. Rainey. 1st down and more inside the 35 to the 32-yard line. Well, this kid is nimble. 5'7", quick feet at 203. A pickup of 13.
Watch his left foot when he finally plants it in the ground right there. Once that foot goes in the ground, he's coming back the right way, and he's going to accelerate quickly. Get some nice blocks over pursuit by the Navy defense. But that's that. You always hear 1 cut and go. When you had 4 carries now for 42 yards, you're going pretty good once you get that 1 cut in you.
How about over 10 yards a carry? Over 10 yards a carry for Bobby Rainey, and now whistles and flags, stop play.
Before the snap, ball start, offense number 77, 5-yard penalty.
Move it back
Still
5
1st down.
yards. And time to go in the trenches, brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. You look at the average weight and height. Western Kentucky and Navy both at 6'3" on the offensive and defensive line, but you see who has the advantage up front. Well, weight-wise.
Oh, well, it's probably about as close as it's going to get for the rest of the year when it comes to that between Navy and an opponent. Navy is usually very, very outsized.
Penalty of 5 yards pushes it back, and now timeout called by Western Kentucky on a 1st and 15. So Jakes took a look at the Navy defense and called timeout. And we'll take a break. Navy by 10. Hilltoppers on the move. We'll be back. Last year, in front of a crowd of over 69,000 at Philadelphia's Lincoln Financial Field, Navy dominated Army in a shutout 34-0. Sean White and Eric Catani each rushed for a touchdown, while Ram Vela put the icing on the cake with an interception return for a touchdown. And the Navy seniors finished perfect 4-0 against Army. And other legends, of course, Eddie Myers back in 1979. 42 carries, Randy. What a day. 278 yards and 3 touchdowns and a 31-7 win.
You think of some of the great rushers. We talk about this fullback position being the marquee spot. You know, not only we already mentioned, you know, Joe Bellino, and another guy named Napoleon McCallum was a pretty good little runner of the ball that wasn't necessarily a fullback.
How about Roger the Dodger?
Yeah.
And he played quarterback, but boy, what a set of wheels. So after the timeout, Hilltoppers with a 1st down and 15. Jakes rolls, fires a dart, caught. Quinterrence Cooper breaks the tackle, heads to the far sideline, and is pulled down at the 17-yard line. A pickup of 20. Great second effort by Cooper.
Jakes has to escape the pocket. Then he sort of resets his shoulders and does a nice job of throwing this ball back inside. Now 7 for 7, almost 100 yards, around 95 yards. But Cooper does a good job. He sees the defense, settles down his route. Then it's just making people miss. He was 1 block away from taking that one in.
And the left corner, Blake Carter, nearly tried to pull it. You saw him slap at the ball to try to force the fumble, and finally brought him down to the ground. Handoff, turning the corner. Here comes Rainey. Bounces off 1-2 tackles and is knocked out of bounds at the 14-yard line.
Like we said, it's not a matter of Western Kentucky not being able to take advantage of their offense fully. They're throwing it, they're running it. In fact, I mean, they're averaging over 9 yards a crack. It's just a matter of they have to finish these drives off. And for the Navy defense, now's the time. Remember that whole attack and turnover? Well, they're not attacking as much as they need to because they're not getting a sack, for instance, on the quarterback, the redshirt freshman Jakes. And turnovers, doesn't matter what kind of turnover it is, they need one now.
Second down, inside the 15-yard line, shotgun. Jakes on a little toss outside, watch out, wide open, touchdown. Hilltoppers, a 13-yard pass and run from Jakes to Rainey. And just like that, the Hilltoppers are back in business here in Annapolis.
It was a beautiful job on the perimeter blocking for Rainey, because Rainey takes that little spin pass, that little hook out of the backfield, and he looks like he's going to be stopped for about a 4-yard gain. Beautiful block, so it gives them the sideline and the 6.
Casey Tinius, sophomore from Bowling Green, Kentucky, splits the uprights, and Navy on top 10-7.
Nice flip out by Jakes. Excellent job down the field right there blocking. Beautiful job by Quinterrence Cooper. Look at that. Gets on the corner. You don't have to dominate him. He actually gets a 2-for-1. No one has contain. You don't have contain on a running back. Give him a slot like that. That's a touchdown waiting to happen.
Well, on a rainy day in Annapolis, Maryland, Western Kentucky on the board. Jakes to Rainey for 13 yards, and the midshipmen are up by 3. 9 plays, Randy, 81 yards, and on that drive, Jakes, the redshirt freshman, 4 of 4. He's now 8 of 8 for 109 yards.
How about his first touchdown as a collegian coming here on the 50th anniversary? He was very excited about getting a chance to perform here in front of this crowd, and he has certainly performed.
And a reminder, coming up later in the ball game, we will have the Home Depot Tools to Victory. Stay tuned for that as the Hilltoppers are huddled up. You know, he told us, K1 Jakes told us, I'm very calm. I don't show nerves. And he's held true to form.
He really has. He says, inside I'll be jumbling up, but I don't really show nerves. I might be bouncing my foot a little bit, but I don't show nerves. Been accurate so far. He's had a good running game to help him out, and all he's done is complete 8 of 8. That's all.
A good mix. And Navy's had a good mix. This little pooch kit. This one's just going to fall down about the 30-yard line. It's handled by the midshipman. Not much after that. A 2-yard return to the 32-yard line. And Jakes is exchanging some pleasantries with that offensive front line, and he's filling in today for Brandon Smith, who was injured with that right shoulder injury. And Randy, how about a look at our Macy's BioBlast?
There's a young man right here from St. Augustine, Florida. All his interests, what he likes, what he doesn't like.
How about the
favorite
dinner
quarterback?
He wants to have dinner with Peyton Manning.
I tell you, he says that's my guy.
Little pitch out, nicely done by Dobbs. What a lane. Oh, that ball is out. And still on the ground. Flags are out, or is that a beanbag at the
beanbag.
47?
Hilltoppers might have it, though. The last jersey, our first jersey to flop on it once it stopped moving was white. Yep. Now, execution, read-wise, very, very good. Get the quick pivot, the reverse, the pitch. Watch right here, coming from their right side. Just a beautiful job of raking across the chest. Strip that ball loose. That's high and tight is what you always hear for running backs. If it's high and tight, you got a better chance of combating this. It's tough. G.G. Green's got to put it away, and it's just hammered right out of his hands.
So Western Kentucky after just scoring, picks up the fumble, and there is a shot. Boy, right on the numbers. And down goes Anthony Shepard as you look at the numbers on K1 Jakes.
That's just sort of what his day has been like. Navy defense thwarted him there, but he's been very accurate. He's put it where he's wanted it to go. Probably the hardest throw he had of the day was the long one on 3rd and 1 thrown to a wide open receiver.
And Randy told us that's his favorite pass. He likes to go deep. And you told him, hey, you got to have that touch. And he's had a nice touch thus far here in the first half. Low snap. And a handoff to Booker.
That's
Jakes actually pulled it back. Boy, he faked this all out. Everybody shifted to the far side. He kept the ball, lost a helmet at the 31-yard line.
I'm reminded that earlier today, you know, South Florida lost their starting quarterback, Matt Grothe, last week. They had to start another redshirt freshman, B.J. Daniels. He gave Florida State all they could handle, and right now, K1 Jakes, another redshirt freshman, he's giving Navy all it can handle. And he's giving it to him with his arm, and he's giving it to him with his legs.
And a gain of 14 yards. And they'll mark it at the 34-yard line. Jakes still having problems maybe trying to find the buckle. Or did he lose an ear pad? So timeout, Western Kentucky. And they're going to have to redo that equipment. And time for our icy hot injury update. How about Sam Bradford? Knocked out against Brigham Young. The shoulder sprain out up to 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's supposedly back visiting Dr. James Andrews. That's either really good news or bad news. The good news is he wants to get him kind of cleared to start throwing again. The bad news is I think there might be something else in there. Matt Barkley's shoulder was a little banged down, but the way you saw Aaron Court perform against Washington, they didn't like that. Matt Grothe, like I mentioned earlier, tore an ACL. Tim Jefferson, Air Force, sprained ankle, did not start. He did suit up. And then Brandon Smith here for Western Kentucky wasn't able to get the start, wasn't able to answer the bell. The offensive line has protected much better than they have for Brandon Smith in the first couple of weeks, because he really did take a beating when those games got out of hand.
You know, coming into today, it's a great point. Smith was sacked 13 times. And so far, Jakes has been able to set up in shotgun many times and have a little bit more room to roam. Again, there's the option in the handoff. And scooting on one arm is Rainey down inside the 30 to the 28. Put his arm down, picked up 2 more.
You know, the point I made about Navy, about staying ahead of the sticks, that's exactly what Western Kentucky has done here. They've kept the Navy defense a little off balance. Having K1 Jakes and his ability to run the ball has been good. His accuracy has been very good so far. When you're an offensive coordinator and you're calling plays here, it's easy. You're not down by a lot and everything's working.
Shotgun again, low snap, little quick flip to the near side, nearly fumbled, but grabbed and pulled down out of bounds. And moved the chains again as that ball was brought in by Shepard, his second grab of the afternoon. And again, 10 for 10 passing by Jakes.
And what they're really doing is I think they're giving this kid so much confidence. And it's not like they're giving him baby steps or baby things to do. Those last passes you've seen him throw on the outside, that's because the corner is so far off. It's almost like a check with me play. You see the corner that far off your receiver, just rear up and throw it.
Shotgun again. Jake steps up, throws it across the middle, off the hands. That was 6. Off the hands, incomplete. Well, Randy, we look at the difference makers today. We go back and revisit Ricky Dobbs, the Navy quarterback, with 11 rushes for 85 yards, a touchdown. Teach was injured early. Reed Tate, 5 carries for 12. Jakes has been near perfect, 117 yards, and Rainey has been impressive as the Hilltopper running back.
And you'd almost add a 5th name, Tristan Jones, 33, who just didn't catch that last pass. That might have been a touchdown.
Hand off, big hole, right up the middle. Rainey has room inside the 5 and leans to the 1-yard line. If he was 5'11", he scores.
Remember what we talked about when you see blocking develop in the lanes. Look at that lane. That's perfect. That's a box to run into. There's no one 10 yards within him by the time he does that. You see the defense stretches both directions. Defense stretches to the screen left, screen right, huge lane. That's how plays like that are born.
So first and goal, Hilltoppers at the 1-yard line of Navy. They're down by 3, trying to take their first lead of the afternoon, and the touchdown, what a sell on the handoff, and Jake scores. He's thrown his first collegiate touchdown. Now he runs for his first collegiate touchdown.
That was absolutely perfect. You know, I'm not sure if this is actually a call all the way, or they might give this young man the option. If they're going to bite like this, go ahead and keep it. You see Coach Elson just give his redshirt freshman a few good words here as he celebrates his first rushing touchdown. So he's got 1 rushing and 1 passing so far in his first start.
All in the first half of play, still 5:19 to play. Tenius in to try the extra point and drives it up and in. After a 10-0 lead by Navy, Western Kentucky answers back with 2 touchdowns.
Wow, to see that entire Navy defense just collapse and converge. Watch them collapse on the ball. Well, they thought that was the ball. The ball was on the left hip of Kwan Jakes.
LG NV Touch. Bigger, better picture for bigger, better entertainment. The LG NV Touch. Is it a phone or something better?
Here comes Navy.
And welcome back to Annapolis. Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, 50th anniversary. And Western Kentucky has answered back with 14 points after trailing by 10 in 7 plays, 47 yards, and a quick drive, just under 3 minutes. And Jakes, the redshirt freshman, has had a terrific first half. 10 of 11, 116 yards. Also 5 carries, Randy, for 22 yards and a touchdown. So we're set to kick. And a high hanger. Take it inside the 15 at the 12, right up the middle. And down at the 31-yard line. That's where Navy will take over. And coming up at halftime, stay tuned. We'll send you back to the Inside College Football Studios where Adam Zucker, Brian Jones, and the coach Philip Fulmer will have all the highlights, including the third straight ranked opponent for the Hurricanes, a tough ACC opponent for the undefeated 15th ranked TCU Horned Frogs, and Alabama hosting Arkansas in a big SEC showdown. That's all coming up at halftime. Maybe a little shell shock, maybe, but they come right back at it. Look at this little pitch out, big gain, and push out of bounds at the 45-yard line. And a big run and a big pickup by Bobby Doyle. 25 yards.
Yeah, beautiful job by Ricky Dobbs, just pulling that fake out, flipping the ball. How often when you watch this Navy offense function does it look like, are they going to get that pitch knocked down? Are they going to get that pitch intercepted? And it gets through clean and beautiful timing.
Nearly 200 yards on the ground here in the first half for Navy, 193. And they continue now to run off that right side past the 40 to the 38-yard line. So on first down, the midshipmen pick up 8.
Yeah, they just need to stay on the field like they're staying on the field. That could put more pressure on the Western Kentucky offense, but you know, when you talk to the Navy coaches on defense, Buddy Green was pretty quick to mention that number 6 guy kind of scared him at quarterback. He hadn't seen much of him, but I guarantee you they haven't seen this version of the Western Kentucky offense.
Second down. Dobbs hands to the fullback, and the first Hilltoppers have had a chance to maybe plug that middle.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the Navy defense doing a good job. Watch the line of scrimmage be created and then plugged. Beautiful job inside, especially in there by the linebacker. Darvis McBride gets in there and just stuffs everything up and enables the rest of his mates to come up behind him.
3rd down and 2. And now there's a timeout on the field. Navy. Midshipmen will work their way to the sideline along with the Hilltoppers. And 3:42 to play in this first half. Well, Randy, the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy begins next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on the CBS College Sports Network. The Air Force Falcons, led by the super sophomore Asher Clark. They fly into Annapolis to take on Ricky Dobbs and the midshipmen. It's Service Academy football, Navy Air Force, next Saturday, 3:30, only on the CBS College Sports Network. And speaking of the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy, it almost has a permanent home here in Navy. 6 straight Commander-in-Chief trophies won by Navy. So far this season, Air Force.
How about those rushing yards?
Wow. 344, nearly 202, and that's going to improve today after what we've seen here in the first half for Navy.
Yeah, it will. It will. And big question for next week's game is Tim Jefferson with the ankle not playing today. Will he, against San Diego State at home? Will he play for Navy? I guess you'd have to ask, but your more logical question would be, oh yeah, why would he not?
It's Navy. It's Air Force.
This is going to be close. I don't think they got it.
You know, from our spot, it looks to be a football length short.
Yeah.
Needed to cross the 36-yard line, and they're behind it. So about a yard.
That is not aggravation, I don't think, on Coach Niumatalolo's face. That's concern. He's got a pretty good team. Remember, his place kickers, he decided in practice this week, just got both kickers out and said, hey, look, whichever one of you makes the most of these, you're going to get the kick.
Well, John Teague won it. He's hit a field goal of 31, but Randy, let me do the math. Let me see how good. 52? 52?
6, 7, I think more like 54.
So timeout.
Yeah, so it's probably out of the question in that regard. And I think with this rushing offense, Craig, there's no reason not to go in this situation.
Well, you look at programs who have gone through basically the same scenario as Western Kentucky, making that move up to Division I. You look at Florida International, USF is on that list. Troy, Boise State, back in 1999, 6-17 in their first 2 seasons. And you know they have busted the BCS, and the Boise State Broncos is a great story.
Remember that Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma?
I do, and I believe there was a wedding. Wasn't there a proposal along with that on the field?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's on Coach Ellison's iPod.
No.
But he's got that game and the highlights from that game on his iPod just to sort of remind himself of near term what is possible. Once we suffer through the beginning, what can come out the other side.
4th down, call it a yard as Dobb goes under center. Long snap count, little pitch near side, turning the corner, 1st down and more. Oh, what a stick. Bobby Doyle, the 1st down, paid for it, knocked hard out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
A beautiful job, nice call. Nice call here. Everyone's thinking inside. The entire defense is just gearing up in this direction to try to stuff him, and they just outflank him. The quick flip to Doyle, and Doyle's got the speed and gets a nice little shot for his efforts there at the sideline.
Doyle with 2 carries now, 31 yards. Dobbs up to pass, has a man.
Did Finnerty get in?
Well, the officials, the line judge, touchdown.
I guess if you're not going to pass very much, quantity over quality, huh? Or quality over quantity.
First pass of the day, 29 yards, and the officials got together to make sure they got it right.
And they're going to review that upstairs, but I tell you, that was a nice job by Ricky Dobbs. He stumbled a little bit off the fake, got his feet reset. Now watch the ball inside the pylon. Contact. Couldn't tell from that angle.
That's a tough angle. The senior, Corey Finnerty.
Here.
Well, the foot is in bounds. Did the ball break the plane? You look at the cone.
Because he's never really out of bounds until his shoulder hits out of bounds. That left foot comes down right near the pylon, right there. That's in bounds. And the first thing to land is that left shoulder out of bounds. He never really left the field of play before his body and ball crossed the pylon.
That hit was delivered by Jihad Morris, number 21, the right side corner.
If that's not a touchdown, they need a credit card.
The play stands is called.
Yeah, I was going to say they'll need a credit card to try to differentiate that one.
So Finnerty with his first career touchdown reception. And now the extra point to come. So Navy answers Western Kentucky after 2 back-to-back touchdowns by the Hilltoppers.
And with 2:26 to go, Western Kentucky will have a chance to answer Ricky Dobbs and company.
Teague, the extra point, and the kick is up and true. (17-14). Finnerty with the touchdown, his first as a collegiate. Thursday at 8 Eastern, it's a Conference USA showdown as the Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles fly into Birmingham to battle the UAB Blazers. Football first right here on the CBS College Sports Network. How surprised are you with this first half of play? Both teams have been able to go up and down the field. A couple of turnovers have played a factor.
Oh, absolutely. Especially, remember, Western Kentucky was on about the 1.5-foot line when they fumbled that snap. Otherwise, Coach Elson and his Hilltoppers have a good chance of going in at halftime with a lead in this football game. So I think the things you expected to see Navy control the ground. They have controlled the ground. The last 29 yards of those 69 yards of that drive coming in that first pass of the day by Ricky Dobbs. I think the surprise is definitely, to me, is the Western Kentucky offense. And Navy will have a very interesting halftime and see what kind of adjustments they come out at halftime, because the Western Kentucky offensive coaches have given them so many different formations, so many different looks.
You've had a couple of 2 tight end looks. You've had the empty backfield. You have option. You have the 3 and 4 wide receiver set. You've gone shotgun. I mean, it's a multitude of different looks. That kick is away underneath at the 3-yard line. And pushed back to around the 22. And Darius Brooks, the return man. And so far, here's the man of the day, K1 Jakes, St. Augustine, Florida. His last time, we asked him this last time you started, can you remember? He goes, oh, I remember. Remember last year redshirting, he started the 3A state championship game back in '07. He was at St. Augustine.
Yeah, against a team from down in Naples.
Yeah.
So that's the last time why be nervous? It's been too long.
He's played cool and calm. Let's see how the Hilltoppers respond. They're down by 3 with just over 2 minutes to play in the first half. Not much off the left side. And there's a fired up Navy defense. Billy Yarborough, number 90.
That's a very nice job of skating the line. You see an active quarterback like this, the worst thing you can do at times is be a defensive lineman and penetrate, because K1 Jakes will take advantage of your aggressiveness, and they just skated the line, all 3 defensive linemen and 2 of the 4 linebackers, and didn't give him anywhere to go.
Good look at Buddy Green in his 8th year, the defensive coordinator for Navy. Shotgun, rolling comes Jakes to the sideline. He'll tuck and run and tiptoes out of bounds. Took a shot in the back, and the officials jump in to make sure there's no extracurricular activities at the 28.
Yeah, this kid's got an interesting style. Definitely. I mean, he doesn't hesitate to run. He's got pretty good girth on him, considering he's 6'3". I mean, he certainly plays bigger than he looked. He looked rather frail yesterday when we talked to him.
I would agree. Came up friendly young man.
But smart decision making. You're going to hear a lot out of this quarterback. This is the kind of quarterback that can make a huge difference in a young program and take them to another level.
Hilltoppers 2 for 2 on third down conversions. A quick flip far side, and it's well read by Navy. Midshipman shut it down. You looked at Jakes. He was looking to the sideline for the play call. I think they went to an audible, and Navy was able to sniff it out.
But it gave him enough time. Navy's able to adjust. They've seen this play, I think, 4 or 5 times so far today. It's a little wide receiver flip out and scream in front of it. Kevin Edwards does a nice job of diagnosing and getting himself that tackle. And this is going to leave, Navy with plenty of time. A minute and a half, roughly. They won't suddenly go into the spread, I don't think. Coach Niumatalolo is not going to encourage that kind of talk, but
I think they'll continue to do what they've done today, and that's pound the ball on the ground. 209 yards rushing. And when they threw the ball, it was effective. Obviously, with Finnerty catching that touchdown throw from Ricky Dobbs.
Remember, in 2009, this is the Midshipmen's first opponent that wasn't a bowl team in 2008. I mean, with Ohio State, Louisiana Tech, and Pittsburgh, some pretty successful programs they've faced in the first 3 weeks.
Jeremy Moore is set to punt back inside his 15-yard line. And that's Mario Washington set to receive for Navy. Takes a bounce, and there'll be no return. And this ball will roll and stop inside. Oh, it's still rolling nearly to the 25-yard line. A 48-yard kick, no return. And Navy has 1:18 to play in the second quarter, and will start at their 26.
Well, 75 yards. How long does it take to run 75 yards? A minute 18 is plenty. You should be able to probably, I would say, 4 plays.
4 plays?
Yeah. You got 78 seconds left. You should be able to get 4 plays off here if you move with authority.
Navy with the first down. 2 wide receivers to the near side. Nice cut. And Dobbs picks up 9 to the 35-yard line. Now the clock runs up on 1:05 to play. Navy with the 3-point lead.
Navy players, the old John Wooden saying, move quickly, don't hurry. We're moving very quickly. They're not hurrying.
And no timeouts, by the way, for Navy.
Right, neither team has a timeout.
So they are moving quickly. We'll stop and go on the option. Quick pitch, near side has a lane. And crashing for the first down to the 46-yard line is Teach.
See, there's a little part of Teach we talked about in the very beginning of this football game, that he's different than your usual fullback. You mentioned how his size is about 215, 212. Well, he's not normally that size, but he has really good quicks, as you saw there.
Dobbs wants to throw, pulled down. What a little quick 3-step drop, and the Hilltoppers are right on top of him. Adebayo, Bo Adebayo from the right end, and a big man at 6'4", 270 with the tackle.
He wasn't having any of that. He was all over Ricky Dobbs.
Dobbs works the near side of the field and taken down after a pickup of 2.
That'll do it.
So 8 seconds and the clock running down to 5.
What was that old Bear Bryant thing about passes? Ball gets in the air. How many things can happen, and most of them aren't good?
Aren't good. That ends the first half here in Annapolis. 17-14 Navy. We'll send you to the Inside College Football Studios in New York after this. You're watching the CBS College Sports Network. Football first.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Inside College Football Studios in New York. At the half between Navy and Western Kentucky, Mids back on top 17-14. Adam Zucker here with Brian Jones and longtime Tennessee coach Philip Fulmer, a national champ in his day as well. And, hey, a lot of teams in the hunt for national titles right now, including Cal, trying to make it 4 straight against Oregon. But these guys are in some trouble. Jeremiah Masoli, who only threw 7 for 21 in this game last year, hooks up with Ed Dixon along the sideline. Oregon up 9-3. What's this, coach? Going for 2?
How about that formation? You better cover down with everybody. They had the numbers, so you threw it outside. Easy two-point conversion.
Oregon might finally have the uniforms they're going to stick with if this holds up. Ramin Alston Jr. going through 18-3 Oregon right now. More on that one in a sec. Meanwhile, the big one in Blacksburg, Ja'Cory Harris.
Ouch!
Let's pick up the outside linebacker, guys.
That's Dorian Porch who blasts him. Virginia Tech pouncing on it. And Ryan Williams going through for the touchdown. Hokies up 7-0 lead. And then Tyrod Taylor going to the air to Jarrett Boykin, BJ.
Let him by, Sheriff. I know him. Wide open down the middle of the field.
This is something that you expect right here from Virginia Tech. A block punt, get on it. The second guy gets on it for a touchdown.
Somebody get on it. Beamer ball in effect. Virginia Tech up 21-0. They were just pumping Ja'Cory Harris for Heisman a couple hours ago. Arkansas at Alabama. Rainy day in Tuscaloosa. Trent Richardson, you can tell why he's the prize recruit here.
Two tackles, 3, 4.
Top recruit in the country, and he's making it happen for Alabama. The second quarter, the dam kind of broke on Arkansas.
Yeah, and it was raining hard already. And BJ pointed out the missed tackles there. Then the reverse play. Greg McElroy to Julio Jones, 50 yards, nice stiff arm, 14-0. Bama on top right now. So these three big games that are happening right now, Coach, what's going on with Javid Best and Cal against Oregon?
Yeah, 42 yards at halftime, and that's the person that you've got to stop if you're going to beat Cal is him. If he can't get off track, I'm expecting Oregon to have a big win. If he can get on track, it can still be a football game, Brian.
Yeah, never let them beat you with their best player, and right now they're shutting down the best, literally.
And Miami, not used to being in this position. Ja'Cory Harris specifically, guy never lost the game in high school, BJ. What's going wrong in Blacksburg?
Everything. You just saw it during the highlights. They're not blocking the outside linebacker. A free shot on the quarterback. You can't allow that to happen, or you'll be switching quarterbacks because that one you have to carry out on the stretcher. And then on the special teams, Coach mentioned it. Blacksburg, you know, they're known for their punt blocking. They're known for their special teams, and that's a critical part of the game.
And you take a young quarterback into that hostile environment, and all of a sudden he's got to deal with that and the rain. And Bud Foster's got that defense cranked up. They've been challenged early in the season. I think they're playing their best football of the year today.
Yeah, in the rain and at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. All right, we move on. TCU trying to carry the torch along with Boise State for the ranked teams that are unbeaten from the non-qualifying schools of the non-BCS automatic, so to speak. Andy Dalton from the shotgun for the Horned Frogs. They're at Clemson in Death Valley, but that one's kept alive by the defense long enough for Ed Wesley to come down with it. 58 yards into Tiger territory, and then on 2nd and goal, Dalton off play action to Curtis Clay. He hangs on, and the Horned Frogs have the lead there, but Clemson now up 10-7 at halftime. UTEP visiting Texas, and BJ, what happened here to Colt McCoy?
What are you doing, Coach? Say it ain't so. Pick for 6. UTEP takes it the other way. They're on the board.
Melvin Stevenson II going in, and the Miners tied up. But here's DJ Monroe.
Yeah, he can go, baby. World-class speed.
Not going to catch that, guys. Well-blocked kickoff return, and he darn sure knew what to do with it.
That was on the ensuing kickoff. That was 91 yards. And then McCoy, a 36-yarder to Dan Buckner here in Texas, pulling away 33-7. They got outgained by UTEP last year. That doesn't seem to be happening this time. What happened with the Big House today? Almost deflated again, but Tate Forcier rallying the troops, putting Michigan on top 29-26 after the two-point conversion. But then Darius Willis on Indiana's ensuing possession.
What you talking about, Willis?
He's talking about a touchdown. 152 yards and 2 TDs in the game. Indiana by 4. 2.5 left. Forcier to Martavius Odoms behind the defender. Michigan back up by 3. And then on the next Indiana possession, Ben Chappelle ripped away by Donovan Warren. A controversial call. They upheld it after they review it. You see Bill Lynch going crazy. You've been there.
I have been there. That's not a good feeling. You're not usually going to win that battle. And I just don't understand how Indiana plays as well as they do, and then they let somebody get behind them with 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah, it happened, though, and Michigan 4-0, Indiana's first loss of the year. And as we continue here on Inside College Football Live at halftime, a couple of big games from the ACC and a young man from Florida State's backdoor dooming their season. It's getting worse for Cal. LaMichael James, who had 98 yards in the first half, going in for the touchdown. 25-3 Oregon over Cal. right now. Meanwhile, 2 reasons to think that Florida State would beat South Florida today. That performance on the road at BYU, and USF losing quarterback Matt Grothe. But B.J. Daniels stepped up, and so did that South Florida defense. 4th and goal, they stopped the Seminoles, and USF would capitalize. B.J. Daniels going to hook up here with Ben Busby. How about this freshman, Coach?
Really a great player and a great call, and well-designed call. Caught him in man-to-man coverage and throw the drag right backside.
215 yards passing, 126 yards rushing. Impressive stuff from this guy, BJ.
Yeah, he looked like he had that Florida State defense confused all afternoon long. He used his legs, a very athletic quarterback. I understand he's a basketball player as well.
And he's from Tallahassee. Seminoles lost 4 fumbles. Meanwhile, the triple option that you Navy fans love from Paul Johnson, it was working against North Carolina. Jonathan Dwyer going 35 yards here. That would lead to a touchdown. UNC down 17. TJ Yates going deep, and he finds Eric Highsmith for the touchdown to get UNC on the board. Still some time left, but Josh Nesbitt, he's going to keep it and go in. Georgia Tech, 24-7. Dwyer, 158 yards rushing in this one. All right, Illinois against Ohio State. Coach, we're showing a 50-yard field goal here from Aaron Petrie. Ohio State not throwing much in this game.
0 for 2, Terrell Pryor is with no yards. So it's, 10-0, I think, at the half.
13-0 at the half. That doesn't count as a pass, by the way. It goes over to Dan Herron. And earlier today, Cincinnati behind Tony Pike and Marty Gilliard, 28-20 over Fresno State as the Bearcats remain undefeated. Of course, we're here at the half between Navy and Western Kentucky. The Mids leading 17-14. Ricky Dobbs going in for 29 yards on the ground. He has a passing touchdown as well. We'll be right back with more. Lots more to come on CBS College Sports today. The SEC postgame show with these guys and Sam Ryan coming up after our game at 7 Eastern. Then it's Louisville, Utah. Kickoff in Salt Lake City at 7:30 Eastern time as both of these teams look to get back on the winning track. And it's Inside College Football Extra wrapping up the whole day at 11 Eastern time. A couple other scores from earlier today. LSU surviving against Mississippi State. Chad Jones, 93-yard punt return and a big pass breakup on 3rd and goal in that one. And Kansas was tied at 28 with Southern Miss, but Todd Reesing and the boys able to escape that one at home, 35-28. And right now, Navy up 17-14. BJ, this is an FBS newcomer that they're up against in Western Kentucky. Should Navy be doing better right now?
Well, they're 226 yards on the ground. That's what they do best. They run the football, continue to do that, and they should win the ball game.
Phil?
If I'm Western Kentucky, I figure out a way to stop the quarterback. He's killing them right now, so I think they'll hit him more in the second half and see what happens.
Stopping that option is tough. Kawan Jakes having a great first half, though, for Western Kentucky. And that'll do it from here on Inside College Football live at halftime. We'll see you after the game, of course, with the SEC postgame show. Jakes, his rushing touchdown here, has Western Kentucky down 3 at the break.
And welcome back. Rainy afternoon, Annapolis, Maryland. Halftime between the midshipmen and the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Navy with the 3-point lead. Craig Bolerjack, Randy Cross, and our CBS College Sports crew. Welcome back in. I would guess maybe a little surprised the Hilltoppers have found their offense, but both quarterbacks have been very productive in the first half of play.
Absolutely, and the rain hasn't affected anything as far as the exchanges in the running game or the passing in the passing game. Kawan Jakes, the new redshirt freshman starter here for Western Kentucky, not only threw that 1 touchdown pass to Rainey, but then he backs that up with a short touchdown run of his own when they bid on that play-action fake. And all Ricky Dobbs has done is make great decisions. His own touchdown run early in the first quarter, then in the second quarter, this one to Finnerty down the sideline for a 29-yard touchdown.
We look at first half stats reeled in by Bass Pro Shops. And, of course, you're always talking about rush yards. Navy with 226. The passing, though, has been impressive. 113 for Jakes. A turnover apiece in the first half. In time of possession, well, that belongs to Navy. As we look at the difference makers we spoke of earlier, Ricky Dobbs, solid, 16 carries, nearly 100 yards. Teach went out with that injury, but still 24 yards on 7 carries. Jakes, you know what he's done, only 11 of 12 passing. And Bobby Rainey has shown speed and power in the first half.
Well, if this Western Kentucky defense decides that they don't want to keep giving Ricky Dobbs all these yards and they want to also cover the outside, Teach will still probably have a big part in this second half. Teach went out with that left ankle. Looked to be fine there in the second quarter. Expect to see more of him and a whole lot of Ricky Dobbs and K1 Jakes.
Last week, 80 yards rushing, 24 today, but you have to give him a little bit of a break because going out and having that ankle injury early, retaped and came back and was still effective. You remember to start this game, Navy won the toss and chose to receive. Usually Navy likes to take the ball to start the second half, but instead they went on offense early, and now they'll be on defense to start the third quarter. Pedaling back, goal line. Hilltoppers take it at the 20, breaks the tackle, 25 on his feet to the 30-yard line, and gain tackle down at the 32-yard line. And Randy, we look at first half possession by Western Kentucky. Fumbled. They were going in for 6 and lost it inside the 1-yard line. And then they rallied back with back-to-back touchdowns and then forced a punt. It was 3 and out.
I'll be interested to see what the adjustments are for the Navy defense. Remember, we've got a relatively inexperienced linebacker in Wyatt Middleton, top of your screen, playing at linebacker.
Now Middleton, usually the rover back, he's taken Ram Vella's place as an outside linebacker. There's a jump and there's a flag. Movement on the left side.
Offside, number 78 on the defense, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
Well, Navy a little anxious, and it cost him 5. Well, Navy defensively today and the seasons, the turnovers are even. The rush yards allowed, 97. Passing yards allowed, 203. Today, just 113. But remember, that's first half action. Jakes on his back foot, throws wide open. The catch is made inside Navy territory, and the big fella's tough to bring down. It took 1, 2, 3 tacklers. And the catch by Tristan Jones, the backup tight end to Jack Doyle.
But nice job by Jones, but it's all K1 Jakes here. Look at this. I mean, that's not even throwing off your back foot. That's throwing off no feet. He's hopping up in the air. He's not even on the ground when he throws that ball. Beautiful job getting that to Tristan Jones.
How about that, rumbling and stumbling, 245-pounder, first grab of the season, 35 yards, and the Hilltoppers are in business. Handoff, Booker cuts back inside and takes a pile of midshipmen with him down inside the 20, and they'll mark Booker down at the 18-yard line.
Beautiful job faking by K1 Jakes. You get some effect on the defense. They're looking. Look at the crease in the alley that develops. You've got heads on heads. You've got bodies on bodies. You don't see much blue because you see white in front of it. That means that line is doing a nice job blocking up front.
Well, Morrell Booker's a power back as well. 5'9", goes about 216. Now they're going to go near side. Oh, there's a pop. And a hard hit. Down goes Rainey.
Yeah, it was a nice job by Emmett Merchant coming from that safety spot. Putting that definitive lick on Rainey, the finishing touch on him. With a little more, I don't know, a little more urgency to it. That's something that coming out here, there's been a little bit of hesitation. Jump off the first play, and they get penalized for the yards, and a little too much looking and not enough charging and going after this Western Kentucky offense.
You know, Merchant's a great story. Set out spring practice, questioned if the military was really for him. And we talked about Wyatt Middleton. He said commitment is bigger than football. And Merchant decided to come back. And a big part of this Navy defense down at the 11-yard line. You know, I can't imagine trying to make that decision as a 19 or 20-year-old, Randy. It's tough. Football, you think, is difficult enough to try to balance schoolwork and football. Think about the military commitment.
Yeah, these are truly exceptional young men and women. going to school here at the Naval Academy, and just looking at the academic side, it's an incredible commitment. The military side afterwards is an incredible commitment.
You know, really,
and you add football on top of that, it's unbelievable.
Well, playing football is the easiest part of their day.
Absolutely.
Jakes in the pocket, throws, patience, and throws it incomplete. Down around the feet of Rainey.
Not all bad, not all bad. A lot of young quarterbacks would throw that ball in harm's way. Jakes does a nice job of holding it and holding it. Looked like he was almost going to eat it. He was this close to pulling that thing down and just kind of saying, that's okay. But he just flipped it out at the last second. Almost got that to Rainey.
Just inside the 19-yard line. Officially a 29-yarder for Tinius. He's 2 for 2 on the season. His longest boot of 40. And the kick is away. Oh, he shanked it. That ball wide to the left. Took a U-turn on him. So a missed opportunity for the Hilltoppers.
Well, this is the first instance where it almost looked like the rain in the field had a little bit of an effect, but he got all over the middle of that ball. Watch the way he comes through it. He got in the inside left of it, or inside right of it, and just pulled that thing left. Laces out.
During halftime ceremonies, Navy honored the 1959 football team. In fact, 50 years ago today, the Naval Academy, that team hosted William and Mary in the first game ever played at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. And the legendary Area's Joe Bellino scored the first touchdown in this stadium as a midshipman defeated William and Mary by a count of 29-2. And I'd say that 59 team walked on the field like they still owned it, Randy. I'd tell you, they were in good shape.
Well, they had 29 members, plus their head coach. That was impressive stuff.
50 years ago.
Where were you 50 years ago?
Let's see, I was just a thought in my mom's eye. I think I was 1. There's the pitch coming to the near sideline. And wow, how about the effort? Stumbling back just a little bit.
God, it's a beautiful play right there by Chris Bullard, the linebacker. Just got a little piece of the jersey on Curry. Those first half possessions by Navy. And if it looks kind of like a typewriter, it was kind of like a typewriter. Very good in it's like touchdown, field goal, fumble, touchdown, half.
Well, the Hilltoppers have lost their starting nose tackle, Jamarcus Allen, the redshirt freshman from Orlando. At halftime, we were told he had an Achilles injury and will not return. There's a pitch, and Curry is stacked up.
Remember, we differentiated when you get out here and you cause this crease, then everything that happens out here is predicated on how powerful and how persistent your blocking can be. When we get the crease, we get the pitch, but it's a really nice job on the outside. Finnerty kind of gets a stalemate.
Yeah, Morris, he was able to play off.
Morris was the difference maker, pushing Finnerty back.
Slot back, top of your screen, under center is Dobbs, and now calls the timeout. Took a look at the Hilltopper defense and will head to the sideline. Ken Niumatalolo, the head coach, awaits, and a timeout. College football on the CBS College Sports Network is being brought to you by Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective. By the United States Postal Service. Priority mail flat rate boxes only from the Postal Service. A simpler way to ship. And by LG. Life's good. And welcome back. Navy up 17-14. Time now for a Home Depot tools to victory.
Well, in this case, they're tools for victory, but in the first half, it was kind of the tools for keeping up. First was Doyle on the outside with a nice little pitch. Then Doyle had a nice answer on 4th and short. Just flip it outside, let him use a little speed, get that first down, and then Ricky Dobbs finds Finnerty down the left side for 29 yards. And those 3 tools of victory brought to you by Home Depot.
Navy with the lead of 17-14. And after the timeout, The midshipman looking at a third down. Dobbs has gone the distance, and the same for the Hilltoppers. K1 Jakes, the redshirt freshman. Both very talented young quarterbacks. Under center is Dobbs. He'll pedal back, three-step drop, throws a dart in the seam, and it's caught for a first down at the 32-yard line. And that ball had to be right where on the numbers of Bobby Doyle.
Yeah, he put that exactly in between the threes on Bobby Doyle. Nice accuracy. Not throwing very often today, but throwing very effectively. Get himself that first down.
Randy just his second pass.
Yep.
2 for 2. One went for a touchdown.
Touchdown, first down. That's percentages you like.
Dobbs, the option to late pitch. He took a hit. Wide open. Rumbling room. Make the cut back. Curry has room at the 25 and is taken at the 23-yard line. But boy, did Dobbs hang on and make the pitch very last second.
The one thing you have to be willing to do as a triple option quarterback is take these kind of shots. Great decision. A shot right in the chops. And then it's just Curry. You have that defense completely outmanned. Come around, see the decision, know it's coming, flip it. Smith does a job just putting it right under his chin, but he gets there too late. Might have felt good for him, but it was exactly what Ricky Dobbs wanted.
45-yard gain, and for Curry, 5 carries, 70 yards, and a big chunk. There's a pitch to the outside, and nearly breaking the tackle inside the 10. They'll knock it down around the 7-yard line, and that's Stuckel.
Now there's a good example of some of that blocking we talked about earlier that differentiates Navy from other football teams is their wide receivers really block. And when you flip a ball out that late and you get a block on 2 defensive backs, Stuckel took advantage of a couple of nice blocks and just used some speed to crease this defense.
Now Stuckel had to come in to relieve Curry after that long 45-yard run. Stuckel back to the slot. He played a quarterback in high school. Navy interchangeable parts on offense and defense. Dobbs hands it up the middle, and the Hilltoppers stack it at the 5-yard line. A host of white jerseys in on that tackle.
So when you have this triple option, you're usually reading that defensive end, which in this case is Clendenin up there at the top of the screen. You've got to find that defensive end. You're going to read him. He goes up the field. It's fullback. He crashes. You're pulling.
Second down. In motion goes Doyle. Inside, maybe a yard to the 4. Was Bullard number 10 on the stop.
Yeah, another nice job of forcing by the youngster.
And there was a flag down.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, 94 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's Nick Harnett, who backs up Jamarcus Allen, who's out with injury.
So the job Morris does, definitely down. Harnett comes in there and puts a shoulder on the thigh pads, and that is clearly late. That was in slow motion, but it was still late. Not in slow motion.
First and goal at the 2-yard line for Navy. Midshipman with a 3-point lead, trying to add to it. Dobbs.
He was in, wasn't he?
Touchdown. Two calls today, Randy, that've been, well, they want to make sure call. Deliberate call. Thank you.
Well, great job by Ricky Dobbs. He pulls the ball and then immediately just follows in behind that offensive line, that right side. Nice job by DeMel. Excellent job by Malloy, his center Bass. In fact, that whole offensive line, Osei Asante and Badapagli, have really done a good job today.
Extra point through the uprights. And Dobbs pushes the pile. A 1-yard touchdown, 8 plays, 80 yards, and Navy on top of Western Kentucky by 10.
You can and get cash for your old gold. Call Gold Pack now to turn your unwanted gold jewelry into cash today. Send us your unwanted bracelets, charms, earrings, necklaces, rings, and more.
Gold Pack's free information kit contained a unique tracking number, so I knew where my valuables were. The process was safe, reliable, and secure.
Call and order your free Gold Pack. Next, place your unwanted jewelry in the postage-paid, fully insured envelope and drop it in the mail. Then get paid within 24 hours.
It cost me over $52 to have my car filled with gas. I sent my old jewelry to Gold Pack, and I received $173. Now my gas is paid for a month.
I sold my jewelry to Gold Pack for $587. There was even an option to have the money wired into my checking account.
With gold prices reaching their all-time high, exchange your old gold for quick cash. Call now to get your free Gold Pack information kit.
Call 1-800-931-4920 or on the web at goldpack.com.
What do you think makes great radio?
Preparation. The full package has to be right.
A combination of entertainment, humor, information.
You really have to have a very well-rounded show where you have to hit all of these different elements. It's really kind of a complicated thing.
So what do you think makes great radio?
Me.
Navy owns their largest lead of the afternoon, 24-14 over Western Kentucky. And offensive coordinator Ivan Jasper has to be happy with this scoring drive. Randy, he mixed it up very well. 8 plays, 80 yards. That's 10 yards a pop.
Yeah, and not including the pop that Ricky Dobbs took from Smith, the linebacker. And very important now, you've answered if you're Navy. Western Kentucky got the ball to start this half. They go 3 and out, or just about 3 and out, and then you turn right about to another long drive. Suddenly you've taken a 3-point lead, turned it into a 10-point lead. You put even more pressure on this Western Kentucky offense and the redshirt freshman quarterback.
Getting back to Ivan Jasper, great talk on Thursday with the Navy offensive coordinator. And Randy, he made an interesting point about Dobbs because I coached him so hard. You know, I needed to pull back a little bit because I see so much potential that I want to see it all right now. And you're seeing quite a bit today from Dobbs.
Absolutely.
Flag is down.
You got to remember, this is a coach that's up in the box looking down. He sees all those options. He sees the right reads. He's done it before.
That was Rainey with the return, and we'll get the call here from Jim Roberson.
During the return, holding the receiving team, number 23, 10-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
So they'll mark it back 10 yards, and time now for the Bud Light Stat 6-pack. Navy 291 yards on the ground.
Yeah, this is a little bit more Navy. You know, coming into the game, rushing for a little over 200 yards a game just was out of character. Having almost 300 in about two and a half quarters, that seems more like Navy football.
They came in ranked 29th in the country in rushing yards at just under 202. Air Force leads the country with 344. Those two meet here next week. Another flag is dropped at the 8-yard line.
Before the snap, ball start, offense number 76. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So yeah, here's an example. This is a little crack. Coach Elson will be the first one to tell you, you know, we need to tighten things down in this type of situation. You come out in the first half, you can't just come right off the field as an offense. Then when you get the ball back, you can't have the penalties, and then another penalty. You go from the 20 after an average return, suddenly 2 penalties later, you're standing in your end zone taking a shotgun snap.
Randy, that's the 3rd penalty this quarter, 5th of the ball game. And now you see Jakes at his own goal line take the snap. He'll hand it. And the question is, can Rainey get outside? And good downline pursuit by the midshipman out of bounds at the 5.
Yeah, lost about a foot, actually, just inside the 5-yard line.
That's big number 51, the inside linebacker, defensive team captain, Pospisil. Last season, 106 tackles, started all 13 games. Durable is his middle name. Under 8 minutes of play in the third.
Averaging, again, about 8.5 a game. 8.5 tackles.
Hilltoppers trying to run out of trouble, and they are out of trouble. They rumble it up about the 19-yard line. They'll just be shy of the first down.
They're almost out of trouble.
Almost. 13 yards for Rainey.
They're nearly out of trouble. Now that you get a first down, you're out of trouble. Everything opens up inside. Kwan Jakes looked like he wanted to get in there and block and thought better, but got the heck out.
Movement, flags again.
Before the snap, false start, offense number 77, 5-yard penalty.
Randy, that's what grazed the hair of head coaches. Football coverage doesn't end until all the games are done, and our guys break down all the day's action on Inside College Football Extra. That's coming up at 11 Eastern following the conclusion of the Louisville-Utah game. Well, it's at a 3rd and short. Now you're looking at 3rd and long. Jakes on the rollout and is chopped down at the 18. Out of bounds he goes.
That's close. Where the ball? He's going to get a first down. I think where they're going to mark it, where the ball went out of bounds, I think it's going to be past the 20-yard line.
You know, he did a reach, didn't he?
That was a beautiful job of knowing where you had to get. Watch the very end here. Nice presence of mind, presence of place. Remember, this is a redshirt freshman, youngster out of St. Augustine, Florida. And he knows the 20-yard line's my bogey.
And just reached out and got it.
Did not step out of bounds. Beautiful job.
He was pushing Rainey out of the way, and now he bootlegs it naked on the far side. Little flip to the tight end. Doyle has it, and the Hilltoppers are now out of trouble.
They have some breathing space. They look like they're actually breathing in unison instead of haggard, shallow breaths backed up to the goal line.
There's a look at Middleton, who started for Ramvella at outside backer. He's been durable as well. 25th consecutive start for Navy. Now Rainey lines up behind Jakes. First down, Western Kentucky. Not much.
Nice job up front by Navy. Completely stuffing things up. Not even a read on that. That was going to be inside for Rainey the whole way, and there was absolutely nothing for him to do. Nowhere to go.
Pospisil again, the tackle.
You hear a lot of tackle stats at times that make your eyebrows jump up in the air because you never really know what's going on. For the last few years, it's been great. They've kind of buckled those back down again. So if you're a Pospisil and you're making 8.5 or so a game, you're as good as there is at your position.
Already with 5 stops on the day. Again to the tight end, Jack Doyle. He had 11 receptions coming into this game, and he's made several big grabs so far here through nearly 3/4 of football. Jakes is now 14 of 16 passing, 170 yards. Yeah, penalties the big difference so far in the second half compared to the first half of play. 95 yards of total offense, 210 in the first half. The keeper and a first down. Past the 50-yard line goes Jakes.
Yep.
Again, I got to go back, Randy, and I think Navy may be a little surprised of the multiple offensive looks that Western Kentucky can throw at you.
Well, and we also have to go back, if to be honest, the 3 games that Western Kentucky's played, they have gotten behind. They have, even last week against Central Arkansas. So Buddy Green and company didn't see a lot of them sort of in the games contending.
Good point. Good point.
You know, so then you're seeing nothing but passing, but trick plays. This is the first 5-6 pages of their playbook.
Waiting for that hole to open, patient running, and Rainey picks up 7, maybe 8 to the 43-yard line.
See, now, for instance, a play like that, though, Craig, that isn't scheme. That's where the defense has done a pretty good job, but no one is wrapping up and no one is tackling, and that's the kind of thing that'll drive Coach Green up a wall.
Next week is Air Force. It's tough not to look ahead, but when we ask that question, each and every player says we never look ahead at Navy. We're always the underdog, and that's the way we prepare each and every week. Booker. Oh, great pursuit. 1, 2, 3, 4 golden helmets. Maybe make that 5 with the tackle.
Well, Louisiana Tech came in here the week after Ohio State and bang, put 14 points up on the board. Navy sort of staggered back, shook their head and went okay and took the game back at them. Well, they've never really had the staggered back, take it back at them and dominate thing because they've never really been able to, except for the first drive of the second half, fully frustrate and stop K-Wan Jakes.
Jakes again, shotgun, rolls near side at the 50-yard line. Stops, now can run. Nope, he's going to throw back. He holds the ball and takes a seat. You know, my first thought as you roll, he had one and he pulled it back down. Second time he could have lobbed it out of bounds and he goes back and starts all over again.
Right about here is the lob out of bounds part, right? And now as soon as he turns back the other way, there are coaches on the far sideline and about half a dozen up here in the box.
Throw it.
We're all screaming the same thing. Oh no! Don't do that.
And that's exactly what David Elson is speaking to his young quarterback now. First sack of the day, by the way, for Navy. And they came in with 6 on the season. Good snap, punt is away. High hanger in the rain.
Will it bite?
Oh, it does. Takes a big bounce at the 2-yard line and bounds into the end zone. Navy will start on their own 20 when we come back. Time now for our Chili's game review.
Yeah, our game review is pretty simple. Ricky Dobbs so far has been a real difference maker. Last week had a hard time making some of the decisions, didn't read some of the fakes well. He ran for a touchdown. He hit Finnerty for that touchdown, and then he ran for a second one of the day with just a little good old-fashioned power behind his offensive line.
Now, both these quarterbacks have been very impressive this afternoon. You look at Jakes, the redshirt freshman, Dobbs, the junior. 2 for 2 and 14 of 16 passing. Efficient. Rushing yards, Dobbs at 100. And Navy back on offense. Dobbs takes the pitch, settles back, looking for his 3rd completion of the day. Right on the money to Doyle. Doyle breaks the tackle at midfield. Doyle, good speed, breaks another, spins, and stumbles down to the 33-yard line. What a beautiful play. It was Dobbs to Doyle.
Well, for this offense, you need a big play. You fake the pitch, you get a little play action, you dump it off to Doyle, let him do the rest. Breaks one tackle, looked like he was going to break another tackle. Keep on spinning and running.
47 yards, and Dobbs is 3 for 3, 86 yards passing. Back to the ground. And the Hilltoppers string it out. And let's meet now the senior, Bobby Doyle.
Bobby Doyle, hometown, Chardon, Ohio. You'd be surprised to know that I've played guitar for 10 years. If I could eat dinner with anyone, it'd be LeBron James. My service selection is Navy pilot. My favorite Coach Nehemiah saying is, "You guys ain't got no dang clue."
You know, one thing you notice about some of these young midshipmen, they've got just a great sense of humor. You know, every day it's kind of drill, classroom, football, but you know what? There's still that fun side to them.
Yeah, Coach Nehemiah's taken a little pounding the last couple between Curry and Doyle.
Got an injured Hilltopper down at the 30-yard line.
That's Clendenin, isn't it?
Number 5.
Oh no, it's not.
It is.
Is it Clendenin?
Maybe cramping. They're going to push that right toe back. Clendenin, sophomore out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. And Randy, when we have a second, let's look at our Macy's BioBlast.
Wants to be a football coach, loves his hometown Falcons. I love that. Coach Elson's favorite saying. Kind of hard not to forget that. I'm sure he hears that enough times.
The team. And you know what, again, when you talk to these young men in football, you know what they do on their
to relax.
To relax, I sleep.
I sleep.
I love it.
Well, with their schedules, you look at a FBS, a Division I athlete. I mean, they have got the 20 hours that are devoted to meetings in school, or meetings and practice during the week. Then they've got class work. Then they have, on top of that, you pile on just tutoring. Then they've got, let's say, 8 or 10 hours of study hall a week they have to get in.
Sleep is precious. By the way, Clendenin with 5 tackles as he goes out. Handoff straight up the middle, and those pads are still popping.
Yeah, very important. Just keep Teach involved. Keep that fullback involved. We've seen the big plays on the outside. The way to pound this defense into submission, the easiest way to do it isn't the easiest way. It's just an old-fashioned, bloody-nosed, dirty old style of just pounding at people.
Teach with 9 carries. Ivan Jasper, the O coordinator, hoping for 20. Dobbs pulls it back, throws in the end zone, out of bounds. That was Shoup, number 80, the junior. And 1 or 2 Hilltoppers was looking for a flag, a possible push.
Well, there was definitely a slip there, but I don't know about the push. Look at that dot with that foot. I think he got the white. I don't know if he got green with that, but watch that left foot. Ooh, that's awful close.
Well, that's a stretch out. Great grab by Shoup. 2nd down from the 22-yard line. Dobbs finds the seam, stacked up, dropped at the 15-yard line to pick up a 7.
Boy, Ricky Dobbs has really been, what a game to come back after the disappointment of Pittsburgh last week as an offense not being able to gain many yards. Ricky Dobbs has made a lot of great decisions, made a lot of tough runs, and needless to say, he's got 19 carries, about 111 yards, and every time he's thrown it seems it's been effective. Almost had a touchdown there on the last one.
Navy's not going to get a play off as the 3rd quarter clock winds down. What a ball game for Dobbs. We played 3 quarters here in Annapolis, and Navy up on Western Kentucky, 24-14. You're watching the CBS College Sports Network. Football first. Minutes remain here in Annapolis, and Navy on top 24-14 over the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Time to take a look once again at the Bud Light Stat 6-pack. And Randy, what numbers jump out at you? I'm guessing it's easy, rush yards.
Yeah, the rushing yards. I think the relative evenness of the time of possession is a little bit of a shocker to me. The difference makers have been the difference makers we pretty much thought.
Yeah, Dobbs and Curry. Jakes has been terrific in his first collegiate start for Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
And Rainey with 114 total yards and a touchdown. So 15 minutes to play, and it's a 10-point Navy lead. (17-14) at the half.
This near side with the ball on the left hash. Look at all that green, all that field you've got to defend if you get a pitch out on that side of the field.
You could build a house on the near side. First down. Just outside the 10-yard line on the keeper. I'll tell you one thing Dobbs, too, Randy, shows you at 6'1", about 200 pounds, very durable. He does not back off, taking that ball straight to the heart of any defense.
Well, when he runs the ball, he's got good lean to his pads. He's always got his pads kind of over his feet. He's always leaning forward. He's always ready for the hit. The one time you can't have that is when you're pitching. And he gets hit harder there than he does when he's running with the ball.
Finnerty in motion. Again, the ball carrier, Dobbs, takes a pile of white jerseys inside the 5. They'll bring him down to the 3-yard line. Well, he has done a terrific job with his reads today.
And I'll say the backside, in this case, it's DeMel and Malloy on the backside, along with Bass at center on that play. Do a great job. Bass has a one-on-one block on the nose tackle, but on the backside, you're talking about isolating those guys. So once that ball's pulled out, suddenly the reason he can run right up the middle is they've cut off that backside pursuit.
Second down at the 3-yard line. Dobbs tries to punch it in, stacked up, stood up at the 1.
Well, it was a very, very nice job of the Western Kentucky defense. Look at him ignoring the cut blocks, ignoring the stuff going on around him, and bending Ricky Dobbs into some positions I'm sure he didn't know he went.
He's been bent back a few times.
Some of these, especially these triple option guys, they get hit and bent in positions. You almost want to say make a wish.
You hope they take a little yoga. Clock runs under 14 minutes of play. First down, goal to goal. This time, no doubt, touchdown, Dobbs.
Vega went right over the back of Malloy and DeMel.
Another impressive drive, covers 10 plays, 80 yards for Navy.
Methodical persistence and execution.
And the extra point by Teague. Good snap, good hold. The kick is away, and in the rain, it's good. Navy opens up a 31-14 lead on the Hilltoppers. Ricky Dobbs with yet another 1-yard touchdown run. That drive, 80 yards, 10 plays, less than 4 minutes off the clock, and it's been a Dobbs kind of afternoon.
Yeah, it really has been. He's done it in all ways possible. He's been ultra efficient in the passing game. He's made all the right decisions as far as running and pulling and pitching, because he scored 2 by himself right up the middle of the defense. He's thrown the 1. I mean, he just had a heck of a day, and if Tim Jefferson's ankle is good, it sets up one heck of a showdown between that Air Force triple option and this football team next week.
Maybe try to run their record to 2-2 on the season. Lost at Ohio State. That was Heartbreak City, 31-27. Bounced back to beat Louisiana Tech here in Annapolis. Last week at Pitt, you know what? A few plays here and there. I mean, every coach in America can say that. But instead of having that fumble on that kick, they give it back. And then Pitt marches down 89 yards, and that just kind of turned the tables.
Yeah, Pitt's a pretty tough physical football team, too. They've played 2 real good teams. And one team, when it's all said and done, might even get themselves a bull bid. But Ricky Dobbs with 26 carries. He's got 121 yards rushing. Or last week at Pitt, he had 26 carries and 21 yards.
What a
little difference.
What a difference a week makes. That kick taken 9-yard line. Hilltoppers need to get back on track. Spinning out of a tackle is Rainey. And we look at more Navy legends. The Honorable Charles Wilson. 1952, Randy to 56, has a BS in engineering. Surface warfare was his service selection, and best known for, of course, Charlie Wilson's War, Tom Hanks blockbuster.
Right. He's a Texas congressman, currently retired.
Yes. Low snap taken by Jakes. Flips it out, and a favorite target today has been his tight end, Jake Doyle.
I'd say the last couple of possessions, Navy's done a much more effective job of interrupting the decision-making process, let's say, of K'Wan Jakes. They've made him make his decisions much, much quicker, and they've covered everybody down the field.
Jakes now 15 of 17, 174 yards and a touchdown. It's a very young Western Kentucky football team. You're making the transition now. You're officially Division I football team. Well, you look at the scholarship breakdown, freshman 22, redshirt freshman 23. There's only 11 seniors with scholarships.
57 of the 85 are either freshmen or sophomores of some designation. You know, it's either a true freshman or redshirt freshman or redshirt sophomore or sophomore.
Offense number 77, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That's the left tackle, Wes Jeffries. Well, after our game, tune into the SEC postgame show presented by Geico. Of course, our guys will break down all the marquee matchups, including the big Arkansas-Alabama showdown. It's the SEC postgame show presented by Geico. And stay tuned, it's coming up next.
Yeah, it looked like early on it was going to come a cloud down there in Tuscaloosa. They might have had a few weather problems. Turned out fine for them, though.
It's kind of been storming all through the east and southeast. Jakes batted. Ball is caught and pulled down, intercepted at the 30-yard line.
Beautiful job knocking that ball up in the air by Jordan Stevens. We had him early on. You heard that name in the difference makers, and he doesn't get a great rush, but he gets his hands up, bats the ball up in the air. Beautiful job there. That's what it's about. It's right there in the middle, 69. It recoils, Navy ball.
See the teams making noise all season long on the one network that's all action, all passion, all the time. The CBS College Sports.
Here comes Navy.
Well, Ricky Dobbs, Randy, outstanding performance today for Navy. Other shiny moments around college football.
Yeah, Todd Reesing, almost an upset earlier today over Southern Miss. The Southern Miss almost sneaking up on Kansas. Look at Marshawn Gilliard. Not a bad day for a receiver. Fresno State almost went in there and upset them. And Garrett Graham and the Wisconsin Badgers take down Michigan State.
Did you say Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, the Badgers.
Navy with the football after the interception with a 31-14 lead. That pick, by the way, belonged to number 50, Tony Haberer, his first career interception. One he'll remember, senior out of Liberty Hill, Texas. And it was Stevens with the deflection, so those two can go out and share a pizza tonight.
Unfortunately, interceptions, people don't usually remember the deflection part.
No.
Remember the interception.
Dobbs throws on a string. The ball is caught. Doyle. Well, he is sure-handed inside the 15-yard line, and Navy's knocking on the door again.
Not exactly a defensive tip or tendency, but if 33 is in the game, I would get an eyeball on him. Because generally speaking, when Mr. Doyle has either been in position to catch a pitch or a pass, it's gone to him.
First and 10 from the 15-yard line of Western Kentucky. Up the middle. And again, it's been kind of that story, Randy, all day long. Big chunks. You know, there's been a few 20-yard gains and, of course, the pass play or two. But it's 6 and 7 yards on first down.
Yeah, it was a nice job by Vince Murray, getting some excellent blocking. Again, it's that right side with Bass and Larkin, or Bass and DeMel and Malloy pounding the way in front of him, but he got his pads forward and he ran for about through the last 3 yards.
Second down and 4. Full back up the middle. It's Murray stacked up, and on second effort, I thought he was going to lose a yard. He picks up 2. Here goes 217, 6-1.
Now here's your problem. You're the defense for Western Kentucky. It's third and not even a yard. Are you focusing fullback? Are you keeping an eyeball on Ricky Dobbs?
See, that's the quandary, Randy, because as a coordinator, what do? You're going to stuff the middle, or you have to watch the outside edges.
Now, Finnerty or Curry come in motion. You better stay with them.
Keeper, Dobbs, trying to lean his way in and is stacked up at the 1-yard line. Well, you attacked the middle, but did you really? You kind of, you went for the soft part of the belly.
Well, what you did was you went onside, and when you went onside, you gave such a look that Ricky Dobbs pulled it. But when he saw that look, he also felt backside. There wasn't a huge hurry and rush, so why not just follow that fullback in just to the right of his fullback? It was a nice natural little soft spot in the defense.
Dobbs already with a pair of 1-yard runs for touchdowns here in the second half. Will he make it 3? He'll tuck it and try to push it in. Touchdown. I think Dobbs' ship has arrived.
Sounds like it. I hear the horn.
All day long.
Well, we talk about the size disadvantage. In fact, early in the game, we showed the size disadvantage between Western Kentucky and Navy. Wonderful technique, wonderful methodical execution by this offense and this offensive line. And Ricky Dobbs with his 4th touchdown today rushing. He's got 1 passing, and he's got 9 on the season rushing.
Extra point is good. That ties his career high for rushing touchdowns. And the push-ups, it may take a while. We'll be back. Well, the year 2002, Navy quarterback Craig Candido turned in one of the great individual performances in the 109-year history of Army-Navy. Candido rushed not for 1, not for 3, but for 6 touchdowns as Navy grounded Army that day, 58-12. And Dobbs is having himself a day to remember.
Absolutely. He's done it all the ways you can think of. He's done it short, he's done it long, he's done it with his arms, he's done it with his legs. 4 or 5 passing for 100 yards and a touchdown. 26 rushes last week for 21 yards. 26 rushes today for 133 and 4 touchdowns. Credit that offensive line, but also credit this young man for having one heck of a football game, because there's a lot of want to in that little number 4.
You know, and I think that maybe the most impressive part is the bounce back from last week. Coaches not happy with the reads, but today Dobbs really found his game, found the rhythm that this offense needs.
And you know what, I think on the other side, Coach Ellison for Western Kentucky has got a good case, a lesson for his young football team. They were right here with this football team. They were right there, 17-14 at the half. You can't play a half of football. You've got to finish things off, and Navy is just pounded and pounded.
Line drive kick, Booker takes it, number 20, up the middle he goes, and still on his feet and battles to the 36-yard line. Morrell Booker, senior out of Louisville. Well, it's football Saturday here on the CBS College Sports Network. Right now, Navy leads Western Kentucky. Tonight, 7:30 Eastern, is the Louisville Cardinals taking on the Runnin' Utes of Utah. Football first here on the CBS College Sports Network. Well, Asiata has been a terrific runner for Utah this season. Banged up a little bit, but he'll be on the field tonight. Louisville and Utah. Stay tuned for that. Jakes rushed from behind. There's a flag back in the backfield.
That's usually in that holding territory where somebody grabbed a little jersey to save their quarterback a second or so. That's what it'll be. It'll be holding against Western Kentucky.
You know, Randy, you make a great point. The first half, I think Western Kentucky was just all cylinders. Good defense, the game plan, and then you saw the mistakes begin to pile up, and you saw also a little confidence wane. 8th penalty of the day, 6th flag this half.
Offense number 1, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
And it tends to kind of snowball when you're a young team, when you're a young program. You have so much confidence in that locker room. You have so much confidence coming out of that locker room. And then every time something goes wrong, and in this case, just punting is wrong against Navy today. When you punt, you give up a touchdown. You punt again, you give up a touchdown.
Jakes throws it out to Hayden, the senior, out of Lexington, Kentucky, and it's a first down right at midfield. You know, you go back to that third quarter when Tenius had the field goal opportunity, couldn't get the points on the board as he pushed it to the left, and since then there's really been no offense to speak of for the Hilltoppers.
Sporadic. sporadic offense. Most of it generated by K'Wan Jakes. Young man that you can build a little something special around, I think.
Jake throws a nice ball to the far side. The catch. That's Marcus Vasquez, wide receiver / quarterback. He's the third stringer, so basically he's the backup to Jakes, but also a fine receiver. Redshirt freshman, another young talent. Second down and short as the clock runs up on about 8 minutes to play here in this fourth quarter.
Vasquez came a little ways to play at Western Kentucky too, coming from California.
3 wide receivers. Bottom of your screen. They throw across at the 40-yard line. And the ball is caught. Tristan Jones with his second grab. I'd say Doyle and Jones is tight end. Also plays a big role in this Hilltopper offense.
Absolutely. Very important for a young quarterback. Tight ends are almost, you can't replace them.
Boy, Jakes could not have put that ball any better. That was a tough grab in traffic and moved the chains first down to the 20-yard line, a pickup of 9.
Yeah, good discipline there by Darius Brooks. Looking that thing in, concentrating on it, and then squeezing it when you know that nice big pop is coming.
19 of 22 passing for Jakes, 222 yards. This time on the ground, the handoff Hayden. He breaks 1 tackle to the 15-yard line.
Jakes called a timeout there.
So the Hilltoppers with a timeout. 7:36 to play. And with a timeout, let's update the cross examination.
Well, I tell you, Navy sure did stay ahead of the sticks. The do your job really came in that second half, because as that half wore, the Western Kentucky defense just had a harder time of just doing their job against this rushing attack. Staying on the field, time of possession, that was mission accomplished there for Western Kentucky, staying that close. But the 2 turnovers, the one on about the 1.5-yard line, if that's such a term, 1.5-yard line, about the 1.5 point.
You just made it that. Why not?
Now. So the 2 fumbles have really been critical.
And I think the penalties too.
Yeah, especially here in the second half.
Yeah,
we started that one drive with 3.
They started playing backwards instead of moving forward. Second down, 7. Jakes pulls it down, has room, makes a nifty move, and reaches out to the 11-yard line. Well, this young man has just great field presence. I mean, he knows where the sticks are. He got a first down earlier in the third quarter. Remember when he knew he had to get to the 20? This time he reaches out. He's a couple of yards shy. 3rd down and 2. Low snap. Nothing. For Hayden, he's thrown back, but you know what? He faked me out and you and everybody else. And, well, he didn't fake you out, but he faked me out. Jakes to the 5-yard line.
Yeah, K'Wan Jakes.
He sold that.
Isn't that
sold
nice?
it.
The good thing about the way he gets to do that, especially out of that shotgun, out of that spread, is you can almost sell it for about 2 yards. Just riding. By the time you pull it out, everyone's got to commit.
On the rollout, Jakes looking to the end zone. Can he escape trouble?
Fumble.
He lost it, but I think it's recovered at the 13-yard line. One of his big old linemen came over to help out. That was the left guard, Shelly Anthony, number 58.
Well, K'Wan Jakes does a really nice job of keeping his eyes down the field. You hear that all the time about quarterbacks. You have to feel the rush, not see it. You got to feel it a little bit more when it gets that close to you. Got to protect that football.
Second down, flags again.
Before the snap, false start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's Wes Jeffries, sophomore, number 77. Randy, I'm trying to keep count, but I think that's 5 false starts thrown at Western Kentucky. 7th flag this half, 9 on the night. Second down and goal from the 18-yard line. Jakes up top, wide open, touchdown! Hilltoppers Brooks found a seam wide open, and how about that throw on a roll? Jakes, the touchdown.
Yeah, he can be a mistake eraser. K'Wan Jakes does a great job despite the false starts, despite the almost fumbles. Steps up and delivers that ball perfectly for that touchdown. Great confidence in that young man. They're going to go for 2.
248 yards passing, a pair of touchdowns. He's misfired, Randy, only 3 times in this game, 20 of 23.
I mean, if you want to design a debut for a young quarterback, Coach Elson there would not have designed it quite this almost perfect. Been a lot of things wrong with this offense or this team at times, but quarterback has not been one of them.
Hilltoppers go for 2. Got it. Hand off to Hayden. And the 2-point conversion. It's a 16-point game. 38-22 with 6:09 to play. And you just witnessed the arm strength of K'Wan Jakes. Hilltoppers down 38-22. College football on the CBS College Sports Network has been brought to you by Geico, where 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Icy Hot, goes on icy to dull the pain, then gets hot to relax it away. And by Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Back in Annapolis, Navy 38, Western Kentucky 22, 6:09 left to play. Let's check out now one more time. A look at the Bud Light Stat 6-pack. Well, the numbers beginning to pile up. Rush yards 343 for Navy. Passing yards 248 for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, I mean, Navy's got its own 100 yards passing on only 5 passes, 4 completions. So extremely efficient. Time of possession, you see that there is not too out of whack, but a lot of that has been due to the fact a lot of key big plays by both offenses have limited that time of possession, but 2 turnovers by Western Kentucky and all those penalties have really come back to roost. Little hands team on the field.
Well, it's Ricky Dobbs, the quarterback. The all good hands team is at the 34-35 yard line. So they're expecting the onside kick. In fact, the Hilltoppers just set up for it, telegraphing it, no doubt.
Perfect time to pooch it. That's why Dobbs is where he is.
And it's recovered at the 45-yard line. Navy football.
Yeah, Wyatt Middleton does a nice job diving, just jumps up in the air, catches it still like a receiver at its highest point, and just curls up, falls to the ground.
So Dobbs returns, the quarterback, at the 44-yard line. Up by 16, 6:09 to play. Dobbs falls forward for a 1-yard gain. Well, another former midshipman. We go back and visit Ron McKeon from 1959 to 1960, fullback quarterback. Deployed to Vietnam, the most decorated Navy player in the Vietnam War. He's his residence. He's having a good time in San Diego.
That's good. He earned it.
Ron McKeon.
I like that combination, fullback, cornerback.
Yeah. There was a day that players
went both ways. Yeah. But that, even then, that would be a unique combination.
Yeah.
You know, fullback, linebacker.
That's usually what. Yeah, that's the combo.
Fullback, corner. Well, I can hit with him, and I can also outrun him.
Was he a cover corner?
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Second down. Dobbs settles under center, hands it straight up the middle, and it's Murray. And a pickup of 8 will mark him down just outside the 35-yard line. And one more look. We talked about Dobbs, Curry, Jakes, and Rainey as the difference makers today. All 4 of those players played key roles in this football game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And Curry, again, it was quality, not quantity. It seemed like every time he touched the football, he was going somewhere in a hurry. But this day has been all about Ricky Dobbs. I mean, he really, the decision-making process, the execution, everything about playing the position of quarterback, he's done it right.
And did you see how long he rode Murray into that line? I mean, that was 1 or 2 steps and then decided to take it himself. That's the danger of the option, though.
Yeah,
when it runs, it's a beautiful thing, but you can also find yourself in trouble. You know what, though? He did pull that ball back in. I'm looking at the replay myself.
Yeah, sometimes that decision-making point with the fullback, sometimes it ends up hanging on the fullback's hip, and you got to follow both of them into the hole.
You know what? I think part of the beauty, too, is the sleight of hand. You have to have a little Houdini inside you.
A little prestidigitation.
Yeah, exactly.
A little up close magic.
Murray again right behind Dobbs. And the fullback just rumbles inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. Air Force next week. You'll see it right here. Then it's on to Rice at SMU. Wake Forest. Randy will be here to catch that game. And then on October 31st, it's Temple, then at Notre Dame, Delaware. You take the trip over to Hawaii, and then the game of games, December 12th, Army-Navy.
The interesting thing is for Coach Niumatalolo, the team he has here in the 4th game will probably be nothing like the team he has by the 12th game by the time they play Navy. Army.
Now there's a look at Coach Ken Niumatalolo, 2nd year. His family, athletes, yes, his son Baha. Last night, the junior linebacker at Broadneck High School, they're 5th ranked in the state. They beat South River by a final of 27-14. And the Bruins now stand at 3-1. Is he a prospect? Take a look for yourself. Speed, and he's got attitude.
I like it. I like it. He kind of plays like his dad coaches.
Runs in the family.
Directed to the point.
Dobbs on the rollout, cuts it back inside, stacked up. And the Hilltoppers converge on Dobbs, but not before another Navy first down at the 21-yard line.
You know, and young Va'a, he's not the only athlete in that family. I mean, he probably grew up having his sister run him around a little bit.
Well, Alexia plays lacrosse at Maryland, and she could have played here at Navy, but you notice the beautiful locks?
Yes.
She did not particularly want to trim the hair or cut the hair, and she also told Dad, I want to keep my fashion options open. Not maybe a uniform fan.
Okay.
So she decided to play and take her game to Maryland. She's a Terrapin.
Well, if you're going to, that's one of those schools you're going to play lacrosse. Navy, Maryland, North Carolina.
Yes.
Dude, I mean, it's hard to go wrong in this area playing lacrosse.
So athleticism runs in the family. Navy huddles up around their head coach. Next week, they will try to begin the step to their 7th straight Commander-in-Chief's trophy as they play Air Force. You look what's left for Western Kentucky. They'll take on FIU and then Louisiana Lafayette, at Middle Tennessee, at North Texas. These are members of the Sun Belt Conference. Troy, Louisiana Monroe, Florida Atlantic. Despite the score today, Randy, I still think there's a lot of excitement in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The facilities are top-notch. They've got an excellent young head coach. They've got young talent, especially at the quarterback position, a young offensive line that's growing. It takes time to build in Division I football, but it looks like the foundation's there.
Remember the favorite saying, the team, the team, the team, for Coach Elson? I would just add one to it, and that's something I'd pound and pound and pound into these young men also, would be finish. finish, because they had the start down tonight. They've got a good young player, and K1 Jakes at quarterback. Brandon Smith will be back here in another week or so.
Darvius McBride, inside linebacker, number 4, still playing some hard football. Inside backer makes the stop.
See, when Western Kentucky tried that onside kick, I think the first instinct at 38-22, you go 16 points, that's a 2-possession game. Well, when you're playing in Navy, though, if you don't get that onside kick, you're looking at the possibility it could be a 1-possession game.
Well, and you have the possibility
it's not yours.
Of never touching the football.
Oh, absolutely. You can run this offense out. You can. I've seen teams like this. I was a part of a wishbone team. You can run the last 6, 7, 8 minutes off the clock in the fourth quarter.
Up the middle. A 2-yard gain. They'll move the chains inside the 15-yard line. Navy will even their record up at 2-2. That's where they'll stand headed into the Air Force battle next week. In Western Kentucky, 0-4.
We talked to former Western Kentucky coach Jack Harbaugh, the gentleman that was part of the only championship in the history of this fine university at Western Kentucky, but he was excited about the things that the university's got going on, what Coach Elson's doing, and I know he'll be disappointed, as will Coach Elson, his staff, and all these players, but they're heading in the right direction. You can tell just by looking at them from the outside in that they've got some special stuff in their future.
Well, Navy ran that clock to under a minute and took a timeout, so 59 ticks left to play before Navy heads out to the locker room. Now, famous alums from Western Kentucky, John Carpenter. He scared a few folks in his day, the sci-fi movie director and producer.
Yeah,
Kenny Berry.
My favorite's number 2.
Kenny Berry.
Oh, absolutely. And he makes no bones about being from Kentucky. He's just a good old Kentucky guy.
And, you know, you have to salute Terrence Wilcutt. You know, when you think of Navy, Air Force, Army, you're thinking maybe astronauts.
Right.
But Mr. Wilcutt, an active NASA astronaut, calls Western Kentucky home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Went to Western Kentucky. There's one, Lex Luthor from Smallville.
This will be a field goal try from 32.
I think that was an add-on favorite out of the truck. What do you think?
Good snap, the hold, the kick. A little punch shot. And it's no good.
The competition continues.
Yes.
That kicker.
You know, John Teague overall, pretty impressive day. He did hit a field goal earlier from 31 yards out. And that one was off target from 32. Coach Niumatalolo told us don't like to have that happen to open up competition, but it came down basically to John Teague and Joe Buckley saying, listen, whoever makes this kick in practice, was it Thursday or was it Wednesday? You're going to kick in the game on Saturday. And that's what it came down to, and basically Teague simply won it. Hilltoppers with the football. And out of bounds, stopping the clock is Jakes with 46 seconds to play. Randy, we get the chance to be back here next week. It'll be interesting to talk to coaches, coordinators, and players and really get their feel about their performance today, because they were down after the Pitt loss.
The defense will have some questions. The defense will have a few things they're yet to answer. Don't fool yourself that Air Force won't watch some of this that Western Kentucky was able to do successfully. They won't try to challenge Coach Niumatalolo's defense next week with.
Incomplete pass stops the clock. 39 seconds remain. Yeah, they'll start breaking film down here. I'll give it 20 minutes after the game. Jakes on a rope. Tough throw out of bounds.
Yeah, that's part of what Ricky Dobbs talked about last week in that Pitt game, coming back and having the capabilities of re-watching online, through the ability to see the game again. He said, before I ever heard a coach, before I ever had a chance to look at it again, and I just couldn't stand it. He said, I knew what was coming. I knew even when I did it that there was some stuff there I want to take back.
4th down, little dump down underneath, and first down. That pass has been there all day. Booker with the catch. They've thrown that underneath to the tight ends, Doyle and Jones, and they just now found Booker for another first down.
Well, as long as that takes for the tight end to get from way over on one side of the field to run to the other, it obviously needs a lot of time to be set up. And that was the first probably truly inaccurate ball that K'Wan Jakes has thrown today.
Illegal motion, number 10 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Well, we did sort of luck out here with the weather, though, Craig. Initially, looking at some of the radar stuff, looked like it was going to pour this entire game, and there was a little spritzing off and on for the better part of the day.
Nothing heavy.
Of course, it's easy for us to say. We're indoors, yeah.
Clock runs down. Jakes chased, heads of the sideline, and is bumped out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
10 seconds to go.
One of the great traditions in all of sport is just moments away. The plane of Navy's alma mater, and we'll be here live for it.
Isn't it great when we meet with these opposing coaches, and most of them, Todd Stewart, the sports information guy at Western Kentucky, has obviously had greased the skids pretty good with Coach Elson, because as soon as anyone mentioned, we know they got a great tradition here with the alma mater, and we'll be there for all of it.
All of it. Nice grab. Shepard, redshirt freshman, with the grab, and the final 2 seconds on the clock. Move the chains, another first down. And I'm thinking that the Jakes-Shepard combination, the Rainies of Western Kentucky, excitement in the future down in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now the clock is dry, and they're going to reset the game clock. Going to get one final playoff here. They're going to put 1 second back on the clock.
One would have to guess that this will be about a 60-yard throw.
Well, he told us his forte is the deep ball. He'll get a chance to put it down deep.
Well, he's thrown short, intermediate, and deep pretty effectively today.
From the shotgun. Rolls out, looks downfield, launches it deep from the 45 into the end zone, and it's picked off at the 2-yard line. And a little slide at the 10, that's it. Navy's going to walk out of here with their second win of the season. And a lot of offense. The final score, 38-22. Ricky Dobbs, terrific ball game for the midshipmen. And the young K'Wan Jakes finishes up 22 of 28, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
And Wyatt Middleton gets himself that pick right there at the end. And so you can tell a well-coached college team. You get that interception, he wants to run it back, and suddenly that little voice in his head was saying, no, 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 hit the ground. Run this clock out. Don't extend this any further.
Well, now it's time for one of the great traditions in all of sport. As Navy comes to the sideline, the plane of the Navy alma mater. And Randy, you mentioned it. It's great respect that other teams follow right behind.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the Navy blue and gold. Attention.
Well, it's our time for our direct television player of the game. Hands down, Ricky Dobbs this afternoon. Rushing yards, Randy, 143 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, threw 5 passes, completed 4, 100 yards, and a touchdown.
It's one of those games for Ricky Dobbs. You want to see everything he did right? Well, you got a minute? It's going to take a little bit. Just he did it with a long run up the middle to start things off. A nice pass up the sideline to Finnerty, 29 yards. And then it was just powering behind his offensive line and trusting in their blocking and his leverage and leg drive for his next 3 touchdowns. Nothing really pretty about him, but they all count for the same thing, 6 points.
Our final score, Navy with the win, 38-22 over the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Dobbs doing it today. Finnerty with a great catch as well. And you had the 2 fullbacks involved with Teach, who was injured earlier, Randy, but also you had some fine play by his backup, Vince Murray.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All the way around in this triple option. The offensive line had it working. Ricky Dobbs and all his running backs really were tough. I was very impressed also with Doyle in his contribution, not only running the ball outside with good speed and whatnot, but also his receiving ability.
I'll let Bobby Doyle maybe the secret weapon of this game today, but Dobbs the man. And let's go downstairs. Ricky, congratulations. You get the win today. You guys even up your record at 2-2. You did it all. Let me ask you, when we talked on Thursday, it was all about, Ricky, make the right reads. You were in sync today. Everything seemed like it opened up for you very well.
Yes, sir, it did. I was definitely fortunate enough to, I think my mindset before the game, I was just make sure I be myself and play within myself. And, everything, I thought the reads came natural. Everything, I settled down and was calm and just read everything to a T.
And it was definitely a matter of quality over quantity in the passing game, Ricky. You didn't throw a whole lot, but when you did, you were extremely accurate and effective.
Yeah, definitely blessed for that. I think that what set that up, it was our ability to run the ball. It was a while before we attempted to pass. I just think that we did a good job up front blocking and, on the perimeter as well. And then, that freed up the wide receivers because the safety was so keen to coming down and stopping the run that, it just slipped behind them.
They talk about being an option quarterback and that pitch and that ability to flip it out at the last second. You got to be willing to take a couple cracks, don't you, every once in a while? You took a big one from Smith today.
Yes, I did. I never forget that one. I got both of my jaws, my cheeks on the inside is, ripped up from my teeth. And, my neck is hurting from that hit, but, I had to keep going. And I think that's the luxury you have to know, make everybody commit, and then when you pitch it, you got to be prepared to take a hit.
And Ricky, real quick, you can't help but think ahead. Up next, Air Force, 2 ground games, 2 prolific offenses. Should be a lot of fun next Saturday.
Yes, it is going to be a lot of fun. And then my buddy Tim Jefferson, me and him played against each other in high school, and then me and him been talking this week and last week and all over the summer. And I don't know if this is going to be the first time in a while that have 2 African-American quarterbacks and both from Georgia, and then we both played against each other in high school. So it's definitely, it's going to be an honor and a privilege to have us face off again.
Yeah, Ricky, congratulations. We'll be here next week for it. We're looking forward as well. Congratulations. Enjoy the win.
All right, thank you, sir.
That's Ricky Dobbs today. Terrific ball game, and Navy evens up their record to 2-2. For Randy Cross, our entire CBS College Sports Network crew, Craig Bullerjack saying so long from Annapolis, where once again the final score, Navy 38, Western Kentucky 22. And for the latest scores, news, highlights, analysis, log on to CBSCollegeSports.com. Stay tuned. Coming up next, it's Inside College Football Live. 38-22 Navy. This has been a presentation of the CBS College Sports Network, the pulse of college sports. See you next week.